Still setting up the stream, bear with, will be a few more minutes. Still setting up. Setting up the live broadcast. Welcome on, everyone. We are currently broadcasting live down in central London at Speaker's Corner. Welcome onto the channel. My name is Louis Errington. I'm an independent journalist and I cover a broad variety of protests and events across the UK and elsewhere. So welcome onto the channel if you're new. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's live stream of the Tommy Robinson protest, which had thousands and thousands of people on it as well. But as you see with Speaker's Corner, there are a lot of people speaking at the moment, so let's get right into this. I hope you enjoy today's live broadcast. My name's Lou Errington. If you're new to the channel, welcome on, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you once again.
لا إسرائيل عدوي واضح. هذا كله يستقبلوا على بلدي. السعودي هم يقولوا إسرائيل عدوي.
So as you see, there was a Christian preacher debating Muslims.
Why did Jesus call you dogs? Hold up.
Died and rose again.
Did he call you dogs?
As God in the flesh. and he said, I will forgive your sins, then what good is that on this earth now? Okay, that's his question. Good question. Good question. My friend, wrong. You're missing the change. There's a spiritual change. Jesus said, you must be born a second time of my spirit. That's what Jesus said. Wrong. Listen. You don't understand change. You don't. It's not prison. Because you're mentally deranged. Right? You're mentally stuck. God can do anything. You have an Allah that can do little to nothing. Because you believe Allah wants you to go like a robot. Jesus sets you and I free from our sins. Sin has you captive, but Jesus sets free. Islam is like every other religion, including evolution. Yes, yes, yes. Listen, Islam, the Quran, a very young religion. Young. Not old, a very young, 1,400 years old, thousands and thousands of years old. Islam has about 40 of the characters in the Bible, and they put it in here, and they mixed it up. Read it. I've read it. No. Let me ask you this.
We believe in that Bible.
You believe in nothing but Pret.
So why Jesus called
Now listen. How did sin get on this earth? To a Muslim. How did sin get on this earth?
Because of you Yankees. You brought the sin in the
See,
world.
that's Islam, pointing the finger at everybody else.
Europe now.
I'm British. What are you?
Denmark, kick you out from Denmark.
That's amazing.
Now you're coming to Europe. You're not going to come with us.
Amazing. The plane without saying.
So yesterday's protest.
Yeah,
Just point the camera here. So what do you make of it?
it was good. A good turnout. I don't know how many people it was because I've seen numbers being quite high. It was a little bit spread out, wasn't it? Yeah. But
In terms of the effect, what effect do you think it will have, and how do you want the UK government to respond?
pressure, and attention. I was mentioning about it yesterday in another interview I did. Like, I think ideally getting attention from overseas. Obviously, Musk has been reposting a lot of the stuff from yesterday, drawing attention to it. I think that's really useful. I think we need relations with the US, and if that's not going to come strong enough through Starmer, building relations with Trump, then ideally that can come through other means. Because that's not, politically, that's not where Trump is aligned. That doesn't seem to be where Musk is aligned, at least at the moment. A lot of Trump's campaign was pushed by Turning Point. If you Turning Point, I think it's a student activism thing run by Charlie Kirk. Obviously, you've got Turning Point UK. That's kind of the equivalent. But as far as I'm aware, I don't know who runs it. I know Nick is Nick Tenko is COO. But that seems to be the corresponding, over here. And obviously, UKIP got a shout out. Nick got a shout out yesterday, which is good.
What do you think of Trump recently praising Keir Starmer?
Did he praise Keir Starmer?
He said he was doing a good job, apparently. What do you think of that?
I think that might have been his world-renowned diplomacy.
And in terms of yesterday's protest, do you think the mainstream media will take notice eventually?
I think they'll try and ignore it until it's garnered enough attention, which is why I think obviously alternative media drawing attention to it is what's important, right? Independent media, and Musk has hopped on kind of the movement, or is helping to lead and push the movement in independent journalism. Obviously, he reposted a lot of the independent journalists in the US as well. You've got Mario, what's his name? Mario Nathwell or something, on X, and like hosting different spaces and stuff, and posting a lot of independent news. I think that's really useful. I think we need more of it. I think we need more outspoken voices. I think what's been really great that Tommy Robinson has done, aside from giving voices to people that haven't by the media, is giving voices to other independent journalists. And it's all kind of resounding, and it ties into this whole kind of thing of uplifting people at a time when this country isn't really supporting a lot of the interests of the individual as sovereign individuals, as our families, as our country. Like, it's not really being upheld, and that kind of independence. I'm a big crypto guy, and so I understand a lot of that is about bringing the focus and bringing the independence, bringing the sovereignty back to the individual, bringing the sphere of influence back to the individual. And the same could be said for media and journalism, right? You know yourself, right? It's even politically, like, with political agnosticism, like, it's important to document what's going on. And Tommy Robinson has done that. He's been put in prison essentially for that. I think it's a little bit ironic that, because he's done so many documentaries on like the rape of Britain and all that kind of stuff, but what has got him put in prison is not even that, because they don't want to draw attention to that, and they know that he's right, and what he's drawing attention to is right. What they're concerned about and what they put him in prison for is for a libel that they spread, and they projected on him, saying that he is the one spreading the libel. It got spread so far, it got spread by like Theresa May at a G7 summit or something. That's how far it went, and he spoke up against it, and for that, it's been so politically aggravated they put him in prison for it. Or was it as a Labour MP that put forward? I don't know. But put forward for the contempt of court charge or something. And so he's a political prisoner.
Do you think the
He's
contempt
obviously
of court is an excuse to lock him up?
I think you'd have to be a little bit blind or delusional to not see something going on there. If it's an MP that's come forward, it's inherently political. It's not necessarily even related to those involved in the case, people involved in the case. Like, obviously he's been put in prison. It just seems like an echo, like I was saying yesterday, it just seems like an echo of the Soviet Union. People who were political dissidents and who went against the narrative were put in prison and were executed and were sent to gulags and were put in forced labor. The same thing happens today in North Korea. I've seen like a comparison of like Starmer and Stalin, like forced migration, silencing of political opponents, all of these kind of things. He has done the same things that Stalin has done, essentially. It's the same kind of stories that I've read about of people being put in prison for indefinite amounts of time, for long periods of time, just in isolation, just put in cells and throwing away the key. Like, what is it? Like 72 hours you're supposed to get a medical review. Like, you're supposed to get like a medical review if you're in solitary confinement. And it's been a little bit longer than that. What is it? 14 days you're supposed to get, like, it's not supposed to be past 14 days. I don't really know the details. What I do know is that it's been 3 months. And he's been denied access, speaking to, I don't know about family, but denied speaking to friends, because he's got a polarizing ideology, and they might relay that information that is spread there to more people, because they're scared of that information being spread, because they're afraid of the truth. which says a lot, doesn't it? Because if the media is afraid of the truth and they're the ones supposed to be treading the news, which is synonymous with the truth, spreading truthful things that are going on, like, they're not living for the truth. Like, it's like the, what is it, Ministry of Truth or whatever, pumping out lies. And it's like, it's the irony. It's the irony. And the media, like people were saying yesterday, the media is a big part of the culprit behind this. The media spread the lies, politicians spread the lies, and the media has echoed it. And the media has become a political tool. It's nothing more than a political mouthpiece. And so independent journalism is the solution to that.
The rise of independent journalism over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Do you think it will have more of an effect in the next 5 years? So.
I think it's ramping up. Yeah. I mean, I'm interested in a project called Click. I don't know if you've heard of Click. It's called Click or Click Deep Reels. It's a crypto project, and their whole thing with their project is crypto journalism, which is like independent journalism, but it's like posting an image. You take a picture and then you tokenize it as an NFT, and so it's on a ledger, it's on chain, so people can see, and then it's also location tied because it's on a blockchain, on a location data blockchain called Nodal, and so you can trace it to location, and it's basically to counteract deepfakes. Like on October 7th, there was that story about babies being burned or whatever. And there was all that confusion about, because there was an AI-generated image taken from that of puppies, and then people were saying that AI image of puppies was the real, and then the original was the AI-generated version. But if that was tokenized, you'd be able to trace it back to its origin, right? And so I think there's a merging to take place, right, between like NFTs and that whole technology and independent journalism. And it's still moving forward, but that's why I think it's
on camera. Very good to see you as well. Thank you. Cheers.
And he's a Tammy Robinson.
Take it very seriously. When a jihadi runs his finger across his throat,
Jihadi.
The British authorities should take this.
You need somebody like Trump.
Kill in the name of their
Netanyahu
religion.
is wanted by the ICC. Okay, you have to hand him over.
You don't
because
need
if he
Iron
comes
Dome,
to
you need
the
Christendom.
UK, he's going to get arrested.
I worry about the British
No.
courts, not the ICC, because they're coming for you now.
Listen, I tell you what.
No.
Listen.
This is our country.
Yeah, this is his
No,
country.
it is a whole land for
And
Christians.
in your country, you're not allowed to make death
country
threats.
That's our Christian.
In your country, says the law. If you come to this country as an asylum seeker, all the laws, you can't threaten people with their life
Always
here.
been a deceiver since the.
Let's go crusaders. We need the crusaders.
You only say lies. You only say lies. That's what you do. You know, you went to Palestine, you occupied the land, you killed their children, you killed the women. They killed women and children. These people, the IDF, think children are a legitimate target. That's what they think. This is their religion. This is their religion. They think children and women is a legitimate target. That's why they're killing
They
children.
don't have religion. My religion is money. No religion.
Can I answer a question?
How are you? Very good to see you.
You need to
What
say
did you
that
make of yesterday's protest, by the way? What did you make of yesterday's?
I didn't see yesterday's protest, I can't say sorry. It was Shabbat. On Shabbat, I don't use electricity. I woke up this morning, charged my cameras, and came here to make videos. So you'd have to update me with what happened.
And in terms of Speaker's Corner, what's your experience like today at Speaker's Corner?
So I've been here for 5 minutes. I've had death threats. I've had people threatening to kill me. I've been told I'm a deceiver from birth. I've been told Jews are dogs. I've been told everything. And my thoughts are this: people of Britain, you may not be Jewish, but believe me, once these people are finished with the Jews, they're coming for you. So wake up. Wake up, Britain.
You're not Jewish. You must have a wrong complexion, wrong thinking.
And he supported Israel.
You guys support.
You're not Jewish.
Are you the right complexion?
Jewish are lovely people. You're not Jewish.
The overwhelming majority
You are
of Jews
from...
live in Israel, sir.
No. You are from Poland.
No, you don't know
You
that.
coming there, disturbing the Jewish who living with peace
My
by peace.
friend's back. He's going to come
There
here.
is no doubt about it. The ICC
I'm
wants
coming for the Poles.
Netanyahu to come to court for committing genocide in Palestine. Okay? So the ICC is saying Netanyahu is a criminal. We need to trial him. Are they going to hand him over or are they going to not hand him over? That's what I want to know. Is the ICC, one second, is the ICC made only to prosecute people from the Middle East or Africa or South America? But when it comes to the white people, Europe and America and Israel, they're immune from prosecution. Is it that way? Is the ICC jobs to prosecute non-white people? That's what I want to know.
So we can address the issue.
Address the issue, yes.
Tell me they're going to chop my head off. The Christians tell me they're coming to the
No, nobody says that.
Peace between them.
Christians
So we
coming
can't see
and saying they're
people
going to do a
dying
crusade.
in this place.
Thank
They're killing
God
each
we're
other,
no
the
longer
Muslim and
under
the
the boot
Jews.
of anyone else, and we are free
So if
people.
they can't live in harmony, we need to send a peacekeeping army.
Come and rob him.
That should be from Christian values, from a British values as well. Such great civilizations. But both of them, they are butchers. They kill each other.
It's all gravy.
So it was you, but you were scratching on
No, I was always doing like this, you know?
was doing that.
Yeah, I was scratching my...
So in what we saw, what are you saying?
About what?
Was there no
Listen,
intention?
IDF soldiers, there is no doubt about it. They are committing genocide in Palestine
That's
and
not
they
my
are
question.
war crimes.
I'm gonna
That's
come to
it.
that in a
The
minute.
ICC wants Benjamin Netanyahu, that son of Mut'a, they want him in the court. They need him in court. Yeah? Because he committed crimes. That's it, finish. You know? But when it comes to arresting Netanyahu, you don't want to arrest him. Why? Why you don't want to arrest him? Who's protecting him?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, let's focus on your
Whose
argument.
microphone is that?
No, that's my
Oh,
microphone.
okay, sorry, I thought he...
No, it's
How
my
do you know you're neutral? How do I know that?
Yeah. So why is
You
it
might be working for the Poles.
Why is it important for Netanyahu to be arrested and prosecuted? Because I'm trying to get both sides of the
Yeah, you
argument.
need to make example of
I'm
him,
not
man.
giving your
You need to
side.
make an example of him, you know? What is it, killing people, killing innocent people, and you get away with it? What's this all about? As I said, you know, that ICC, apparently, it looks like it, they only want to prosecute the people in Africa, the people in Middle East, the people in Asia, the people in South America or Mexico. That is the job of the ICC. But you can't pick and choose. If someone commits a crime, you need to be tried. And there is clear evidence. There is clear evidence that Netanyahu committed.
You said where's her written evidence? What written evidence do you want? With written evidence, you said. Yes, you did.
Prove that she was there.
You asked for written evidence. So I took the piss by saying, do you think Hamas are going to give her a leaseholder
If she's
agreement?
so convinced,
What written evidence will you be happy
if
with?
she's
What
so,
written
I didn't
evidence?
ask for written
You
evidence.
did.
I
What
asked
written
her to
evidence do you
prove
want?
it. Why can she
How
not
can
prove
she prove it?
Well,
in
she,
your
she
eyes?
was there for 15
How?
months.
How?
Prove it.
What? How?
Well,
I'm
she
asking-
said it.
You're making
She
the
said
demand.
it. Well, 'cause
How do
she
you want her
said
to
it.
do it?
Well, she
How
said
do you
it.
want her to
Well,
do
she
it?
shouldn't have said it if she
How
can't
do you
prove
want
it.
her to do it?
It's up to her.
You're
She
the one
wants-
that's making a demand.
She
How-
said it.
How do you want
Why
your
can't
demand
she prove it to the
facilitated?
outside world?
How do you want her to do
Why
that?
can she not
How?
prove it to the outside
How
world?
do you want her to do that?
Well, she said it.
How do you? But you're
No,
demanding
it's not
evidence.
About, it's her. She said it. Why can she
You
not
are
prove
demanding
it?
evidence.
Well,
What evidence do you
what-
want?
Don't you think it's quite?
What evidence do you want? Can you not answer
She
one
just-
question?
No. She
One
needs to
question.
prove it.
You
She
demand-
said it.
How?
Well, I think it's up to her, isn't it? She said
So
it.
you'll be happy with whatever she presents?
Well, no, because
What if
then
it's
we
her
can-
personal?
No,
Oh
no.
no, she won't. be
No,
happy.
because then we can look at the evidence, can't we?
What evidence do you want?
She said it. Don't
But
be
what
so
evidence
ridiculous.
do you want? You're just repeating yourself.
It's not for me to.
Can you not answer?
No,
You're
no,
making a
no,
demand.
She,
You're making a
she
demand.
has said-
Clarify
she
how your
has
demand
said-
can be achieved.
She has said.
It's not complicated.
No, she has said.
You're making a demand. You're standing here in the sunshine in Speaker's Corner making a demand.
She
and
has
I'm
said-
interested
how can your demand
course
be
you
met?
are. So you don't
How can
think-
your demand be met? Don't keep answering a question with a question.
I'm not. You said
How can she evidence her
because then
claim?
it can at least prove
How?
it to me. I don't care how she does it. It was she made the
So
allegation.
her personal
It's down
experience,
to her.
personal experience isn't sufficient for you.
Oh,
What is sufficient for
It's
you?
the personal.
What is?
it's
No,
the-
you can't answer a
No,
single
no,
question.
because you
So
can't
I'm wasting
answer
my
the-
oxygen.
No, you're not.
I'm asking
Because
a question
you can't.
and you're failing
no,
to answer it.
Because you're not making
You
any
made a
sense.
claim. I've asked you a
I
question
didn't
about
make a
that
claim.
Yes,
she
you
made
did.
the claim.
She hasn't evidenced
She's
it, you
made the
said.
claim. Don't be so ridiculous. It was her who said.
How do you want her
she
to
was
evidence it?
I couldn't give a damn.
Well, why are you arguing about it then?
Because you asked the question. Don't be so ridiculous.
Bye bye. No. Bye bye.
It's the good that you desire for your neighbor, and so you must have an appreciation of what is good for you before you can have an appreciation of what is good for your neighbor. So how is J.D. Vance so far tracking against the Christian tradition? This amor sui endeo is the basis by which you can love your neighbor, and without which you cannot love your neighbor. J.D. Vance said that the third order of love is that you love your community, whereas St. Augustine said that the second order of love is that you love your neighbor. Apologize!
What the card? Did you hear the whistle?
You're talking about
5 years ago.
You're talking about
What
lived
was your reality?
You're talking about lived experiences. Go speak to the Palestinians.
Change the subject.
Hold on, let
Change
me
the
finish.
subject.
Let me
Ain't no
finish.
apartheid.
You're
There
talking-
ain't no apartheid.
In your
This is an
phrasing-
insult to the
in the-
people of South
in the
Africa
real
when
world.
you use
In the
bandy this
real
word
world.
around
Hold on.
to suit your politically Jew-hating narrative. It
don't
ain't
be
an
so
apartheid. How many others? I will
don't-
tell you,
no,
because
I don't hate you.
unfortunately Muslims
You've
are being
got-
persecuted around this
you've
entire
got-
world.
you've got
You don't
nothing
talk
left.
about
No,
others.
no, no.
You don't talk about others. No Jews, no news. Because you're a
you
rabid
can let-
anti-Semite.
No, you're-
You are a
you're
rabid
the
anti-Semite
anti-Semite.
that don't really care about
You're the
Muslim lives.
anti-Semite.
Because you don't
I'm
give a
not the
shit about the poor Muslims being persecuted, kept in
Shut up.
concentration camps in China.
Shut
You
up.
don't give a shit because there were no Jews in China, and you hate Jews to your core. That's why you don't give a shit about the
the reason
Uyghurs.
why you're an
You don't give a
anti-Semite-
shit about the Uyghurs, do you? All you talk about is Palestine. Palestine, Palestine,
How the hell do
Palestine.
you know what I know?
Because all I've ever heard you say
really?
is Palestine.
And all I've ever heard you
Palestine.
say,
I've never heard
and
you
I've
say
all-
one thing about
all
the
I've ever heard
Uyghurs
you
or any
say
other
is
persecuted
support-
group of Muslims
all I've ever
around
heard-
the world. Persecuted Muslims around the world. You don't give a shit about them.
Do you give a shit?
Yes, I
actually
do,
care
funny
about
enough.
them.
But why do you only
Oh,
talk
so we
about
do-
one where
oh, so-
there happens to be Jews?
And why
involved?
do you only ever talk about the racist apartheid state of Israel? Go ahead.
I
why?
don't, for goodness
Of course
sake.
you
I've been
do.
coming here 24 years,
Oh.
and believe me,
Oh,
most
good.
of that time isn't talking about
Well, guess what?
Palestine.
I've been
I
coming-
tried to avoid the subject because it bores me.
Oh, does it?
Yes, it
Oh,
does.
really? So you seem to be obsessed
Because it's based
with
on
it.
anti-Semitic Jew hate.
It's not based on
Yes,
anti-Semite.
it is.
You're the
It
anti-Semite
is.
because
Israel
you
is held to a
support.
much higher level of
You're
account
anti-
than any other
You're the
nation on this
anti-Semite
planet. By
because you make an excuse for the racist apartheid state of Israel. You're the
You're full of
anti-Semite.
propaganda
Yes, you
and
are.
lies.
You're the
You're
anti-Semite.
full of propaganda
The reason why
and lies.
anti-Semitism spreads
You've not even been
is because
there.
of people
You probably
like-
couldn't even
Oh,
point
don't
to
be
it on a
so-
map.
Now you're pointing out that you have to go there to see what's going on.
Well, you did
Hold
ask me
on,
earlier,
hold
have
on,
you been
Hold
there?
on. I've-
Why did you ask
hold
me
on.
if I'd been
I've
there?
spent my whole
Why
career.
did you ask
Hold
me if
on a
I'd
minute.
been there?
I've spent my
Why
whole
did you
career.
waste the oxygen in
I've
asking me,
spent my
have
whole-
I been there?
I've
You
spent
didn't
my
like
whole-
my answer, but why did you
I
ask the
couldn't care
question?
less
whether
So
you've
why
been
did you
there.
ask?
You told
did
me
you
I didn't
ask?
ask the question.
Yes,
I've
you did.
spent my
You
whole
said, have you been there?
I've spent my whole career in an industry
watch the video.
where I've
Just
worked,
watch the video.
where I've worked with Jews and I've worked with Palestinians and I've worked.
Oh,
with
you didn't bloody talk about Palestine.
And I've worked
I would
with
have taken out a grievance
Oh,
if you
of
had.
course you would. And they tell me what's really going on. I'd rather take their word because we're born and raised there, rather than taking your word. And you talk
You didn't
about
get wrinkles if you snarl your face so
You
much.
talk about lived
Why'd you snarl your
You
face so
talk about lived experiences. Go speak to the Palestinians who live under occupation and go and ask them about their lived experiences.
Why
Go
aren't
on.
you there helping?
Why don't
Why are you there helping rather than
you don't know
bad-mouthing
what I do.
here?
You don't.
Have you ever done anything to help this cause? What have you done to help this cause?
It's none of your
What
business.
have you done?
It's none of your
Yeah,
business.
okay, you don't have to go there
It's none of your
financially.
business.
How have
I
you helped
support
them?
many
How have you
Palestinians.
helped them?
None of your business.
How have you helped them? Oh, suddenly worried about privacy.
I couldn't care less whether you agree with me or not.
But you haven't done anything
You've
to help
talked
them,
about
have you?
lived
Other
experiences.
than bad-mouthing at Speaker's Corner
I've
on a
just
Sunday,
explained
you've
to
done
you.
nothing.
You've just talked about lived experiences. Go talk to the Palestinians who live under occupation about their lived experiences.
Shall I go and talk to
Go
the
on.
Muslim Arabs in the
Oh, you
Israeli
can't answer
government?
that question,
Or do
Rob,
their
can you?
views not matter?
You can't answer that question.
No, it doesn't matter.
You go talk
I'm going
to
to go
Pal-
now because this one's more stupid than you.
No, you're the
That's
anti-Semite.
saying
You're a
something.
complete waste of space.
Go on, say I'm a racist.
If
Go on,
you
say I'm
want
a
to keep
Zionist.
supporting the
What else
racist
do you want to tell
apartheid
me?
state of Israel, go ahead and do it. We don't care about
You're
what you
anti-immigration
think.
also.
We will support the Palestinians till our final breath. You keep supporting.
You're not
the
doing
racists.
anything.
Don't-
Tell us what you're
No.
doing then. If I'm wrong, prove me
I'll tell you
wrong.
what I'm doing. I'm putting
Prove
you
me
right,
wrong.
'cause You're an
European
absolute
settlement.
Prove me
You're
wrong.
an anti-
He's not even ashamed of his.
You're an
vitriolic
anti-Semite
racism.
to the core, and you
European
don't
settlement.
even.
You
understand
at
what
least
you
try and
are.
hide it a little
No,
bit.
no, no,
He,
you're-
he's not even. He doesn't even hide his
You're an
vile racism.
anti-Semite to the core. That's what you are. Because by supporting Israel, you're responsible for the
So
spread.
someone that supports
You're
Israel is an
responsible for the
anti-Semite.
spread of
There's
anti-Semitism.
logic.
Yes, you are.
There's
Oh
logic.
no, it is. But you haven't got the intelligence.
The
to
people
understand
spreading
it.
anti-Semitism
You
are
haven't
the
got
vile
intelligence.
anti-Semites.
Yeah,
Why
you
every
people like
synagogue
you.
in this
People
country
like
has
you.
permanent security on the door. Mosques don't have that. Think about that. Show me a Muslim school that has permanent security on the gates. Every single Jewish school has permanent security on the gates to protect them from violent scum like you.
Don't be so
Why does every Jewish
Don't be
school,
so-
every Jewish
There you go.
organisation, every
is-
synagogue have security on the door?
Classic-
Tell me why.
I am-
And that's not even
I'm
that's
gonna-
not even a
I'm
recent
gonna
thing.
answer your question.
But no mosque does.
Let me answer
no
the
Jew-
question.
No Muslim school does.
Let me answer the question. Classic Zionist propaganda.
Oh right, so there's no
Hold on,
security
hold
on the door of synagogues.
If you
There is
support-
no security
if you support
on the door
Palestine,
of Jewish
if you
schools.
support
Are you that
Palestine,
dumb?
if you
Are
support-
you that dumb?
Let me finish.
Go and see a synagogue. There's one up the road.
Don't
You
be
don't have
so
to walk very
ridiculous.
far.
I've lived in North
Go to a Jewish school. Go to
Oh,
Golders
will
Green.
you just shut up for a
You know, there's an
moment?
organisation called Jewish Care that run care homes for elderly Jewish people. They have security on the bloody door. An organisation that
You're doing
provides
very well.
care
You're
homes
doing
for
very
old
well.
people.
Are you proud
They
of
have to
yourself
have
now? Are you
security.
proud of
They've got
yourself?
special door locks.
Keep going.
They've got
keep
special
going,
door
keep
locks
going, keep
because
going.
they know how many people
Keep
hate
going,
them.
Keep going.
But I'm making this up, am I? Go to Golders Green and look at the Jewish Care head office.
I live in Finchley,
They-
you
they
idiot.
go to
I
Jewish
live
Care
in
and
Finchley,
see the
you
security.
idiot. I live in Finchley.
Are you blind?
Don't
You-
make
you
it up.
like this when you walk down the road?
You're an embarrassment to your own people.
So
that's what you are.
who are my own people?
Hold on,
Who are my
no,
people?
I'm gonna
Come on,
finish
show
answering
your
that.
racism. Who are my people?
You are a
Who are my
classic-
people?
You're a classic
Who are my
Zionist
people?
because if you support Palestine,
Oh, I'm a Zionist.
you have
Am
to
I
be an
anything else?
anti-Semite. You have. If you
You
support
are denying the
Palestine,
reality
you
that
have to
every
hate
single
Jews.
Jewish
You're
organisation,
an
because of
anti-Semite
the
to
level of hate
core,
and
you don't even
anti-Semitism,
understand
has
it.
security
How
on the
pathetic is
doors.
that? How pathetic is that? You don't even realise you're an anti-Semite.
You're not doing your cause
You're an
a lot of
absolute
good
embar-
when you're
and
denying
neither
the
you
fact.
Are. And neither
You're
are you.
denying the
and
fact.
neither are you.
How
You're
many
an
how many
absolute
mosques
disgrace.
have security on the door?
Shall I tell you about
How many?
Muslim? Hold on,
How
let-
many?
let me
How
tell
many
you about-
Muslim schools have
I'll
security?
explain it to you if you let me answer the
Well, give me some
question.
names.
In the last year in the UK, just in the last
Do
year,
mosques
in
have
this
security?
Will you let me answer your
No, because
question?
you're just coming out with some nonsense.
Because you don't want to hear it, do you?
No.
There was a 500% increase
in Muslim attacks.
And what's happened to
in England.
anti-Semitism? What's happened to levels
See,
of
again, you
anti-Semitism?
only care about one group of people, where I care
Because
about
one-
all people.
Oh, really?
I'm
Okay, tell us how you
protected
care
by
about Jews.
I'm
Let's
protected.
concentrate on that so we don't get a biased view of you. Tell us how you
The
worry
biased
about
view is
Jews.
coming from you. The biased
Well,
view-
you just said you worry about
biased
everyone.
views
You've
are
spent the
coming
last
from
hour
you.
only talking about one side. So let's now
biased
talk
views
about the
are
other
coming from
side.
you. The biased views
You
are coming
just
from
said you
Not
care for
from me.
everyone.
Not from me.
You said you care
The
for
biased
everyone.
views are coming
You're
from
very
you.
easy to show up. You know that.
You're easy to show because you don't even
Then
realise.
you just said you
don't
care for
realise-
Jews equally.
Of
So now
course I
let's
do.
talk about that.
Of course I do.
So let's talk about it.
In what respect?
Any respect.
I've just explained
You
to you.
choose.
I've just explained to you. There's been an increase in attacks against the Jewish community. There's been a 500%.
From who? What's the percentage?
Was I there? Don't be so ridiculous. Was I there? Don't ask silly questions. If you want to have
What
a
was the
debate,
percentage
I'm
increase
not-
in anti-Semitism?
Does it matter about the
Oh,
percentage?
you don't know.
Does it really matter?
But it matters if it's
No. What did I just
if it's
say
anti-
to you?
if it's Islamophobic.
I care about
That
if
matters
Jews
the
are
numbers,
attacked.
but it doesn't
Hold
matter
on.
about numbers.
I
it goes
care about.
anti-Semitism.
I care if Jews.
Don't bullshit that
no,
you
no,
care
you're
about
the
both
bullshit.
sides.
You're
You
the
don't.
bullshit.
You don't
Here
care
you go
about
again
both
with your
sides.
anti-Semite tropes. Anybody who supports
Tropes.
Palestine has to
Tropes.
hate Jews. Classic
It's not a
Zionist
trope
playbook
pointing
theory.
out to you every Jewish school has to have security on the gate.
And there's been a
That's not a 500%
trope. Increase in Muslim
And what's the
attacks
percentage in
the UK.
anti-Semitism increase?
You don't understand.
Another vile racist who's not even embarrassed about his racism. I'm white, so I'm Polish, apparently. I'm not quite sure what that logic is.
Okay, the only way we're ever
Why does Speaker's Corner attract such numbers?
the only way we're
I'm
ever
not necessarily including you.
the only way we're ever going to stop what's going on in the Middle East if Israel once and for all, because it's never
Why
ever
do you not care about the other persecutions against Muslims elsewhere
Wait.
around the world? You only want to focus on one.
That's the discussion
Why?
we're having. That's
Why?
the discussion.
Why?
It's
Why
it's
can't we
not
talk
about
about
why.
others?
We can talk about
There
the
are more
Uyghurs if you
Muslims
want
dying
to.
and being
We can
persecuted,
talk about
unfortunately,
Congo if you want
elsewhere.
to. We can talk about Sudan if you want
You
to.
want to talk about Palestine?
No, because I talked about Palestine because it was clear to me that you want to support a racist apartheid state, and I'm not going to allow that nonsense.
But you've not.
I
evidenced
will.
how
I
it's
will
racist
debate
or
with you.
apartheid.
I will
I've
debate
evidenced
with
how
you.
it's not.
It's,
But you're not putting forward any evidence of why Israel is an
okay, so
apartheid
it's not an apartheid state.
I've pointed out there are Muslim Arabs
on.
in the parliament, there are Muslims, atheists, Jews, Christians playing with their kids, playing in the same parks, with their religious buildings next to each other, shopping in the same shopping malls. That's pretty firm evidence against apartheid. So now you present your evidence for apartheid against this.
If it's not an apartheid state, if Israel is not an apartheid state, they're your words, why is it occupying millions of Palestinians and does not give them voting rights and does not give them the rights, the same rights?
We not give them voting.
They occupy people that have got no
How
rights.
do they not have voting rights? Are you saying Palestinians can't vote in Israeli elections?
No, I didn't say it. Listen
that's
to
not
my
denying-
words.
that's not
Listen
denying-
to my words.
So
The
you're
people-
twisting words again
No,
to
I'm
mean
not. I'm
something
talking
else.
about
So they
the-
can vote in the election, but so what voting rights do
I'm
they not
talking
have?
about the occupied Palestinians.
But they have the opportunity to vote in the election. I think you just agreed with that.
The only,
So what
the
voting
only
rights do they not have?
Hold on. The only Palestinians that have the right to vote in elections are the Palestinian citizens of Israel, not the Palestinians under occupation.
What's
What
the
is it you
difference?
don't
What's the
understand? What the difference
between
is?
those two groups?
One is under occupation and one has
Palestine's
citizens.
in Israel, Palestine's in Palestine. They have different voting rights. Tell me, educate me, what are the differences in their voting rights?
The people under occupation are not allowed to vote in their own elections. The Palestinian citizens of Israel are allowed to vote in
Hamas were
Israeli
voted
elections.
in quite a number of years ago.
Of course
And
they
then they
are.
stopped elections.
No, they didn't stop elections. They wanted to
Well,
have...
so you just admitted that the Palestinians did vote in Hamas. So
Of course
again,
they did.
disproving your own point,
No.
the Palestinians don't have voting rights.
No!
You're not very good at
No,
this.
no, no.
I'm sorry
The
to be
fact- no, hold on.
condescending, but
No,
you're
no,
not
no,
very
no.
good at this.
No, no, you're not
You
very
keep
good.
making point after point after point.
What you don't
can't
do-
substantiate any of it.
No, the Palestinians...
And you actually agree when I disprove
The
it.
Palestinians under occupation right now cannot hold elections
Because Hamas aren't having elections.
no, because
So they did have elections.
because they wanted elections in 2018 and 2019 as the price.
Why are Hamas not allowing it?
It wasn't Hamas that wasn't allowed.
Oh, right, so
The
it's not
US
Hamas's
put
decision,
the
not
US and the US and the Arab puppets of the US put a stop to it. They wanted fair elections in 2018 and they weren't allowed. They wanted elections in 2020 and they weren't allowed. Because the Arab, because you know that the Arab countries in the US put pressure on the Palestinian Authority to not allow it.
Some of the Arab countries have more sense than Hamas.
No, they don't.
That's why.
No, they don't. They're just.
Have you
puppets
seen
of
the wall
US.
that's between
They're
Gaza
just-
and Egypt?
Yeah, I'm well aware.
It's massively bigger than any wall Trump built.
Because Egypt,
It's massive.
because the people in power in Egypt.
Yeah,
don't-
it's only
they
us
don't
in the
care
West
about
that
the
don't like
Palestinians.
them, apparently.
No, they don't care about. They're too busy signing gas contracts with Israel. The people in power in Egypt don't care about the Palestinian people. The Egyptians
Clearly,
themselves.
neither do the Egyptians.
No, the Egyptians. No, actually,
They
I
have
think-
a velvet
I think-
revolution
I
in
think
Egypt.
you'll find the people
They have
do.
a revolution in Egypt.
You know that
A people's revolution.
You know they
So
do, but-
therefore, if Egypt has a position, I think the people are probably going to be okay with it.
No. People are. You'll find that Arab populations do support Palestine, but those at the very top don't, because all they care about.
But
is-
they've recently
all
had a
they
revolution
care
in
about
Egypt.
is signing
Oh,
gas
relatively
contracts with
recently.
Israel, getting their defence weapons from Israel. That's all they care
I
about.
think we've run out of steam on this one, don't we? We've even lost the crowd. They've even got I wish you used your passion more constructively.
And in that relationship, we Christians are to embody a me casa, su casa attitude. My home is your home. Make yourself feel at home. But as everyone knows who has ever been a host, you are always the one in charge. It is always your home. And there is an understanding that the guest will be a good guest. And thus, the Christian faith contradicts the liberal idea of inalienable human rights that have allowed aliens in this country to come, to commit evils, and then to be free from deportation, to break the law and to not suffer consequences of losing their citizenship and to be cast out of the home of these islands. We Christians, to every good guest who comes into this island, must make them feel welcome, must invite them to participate in our culture and our way of life as good hosts, making them feel a part of what it is to be British. But when they are a bad guest who comes and insults us as the host, who comes to vandalize our homes, who comes to change the rules and the culture by which we live, then we are right to cast them out, because they have broken the contract of host and guest. And so I want to applaud President Trump for kicking out of America all of those Hamas supporters and giving them the boot. And that's exactly what we need to do in the UK. Every Islamist in the country, whether they were born here or not, should be ejected from the British Isles. And only those immigrants who show a willingness to integrate should be welcome here. But there is a duty on all of us that when we recognise the foreigner that wants to be part of our community, wants to be part of our lands, that we welcome them and we make them one of us and include them in our society. Any questions on that point before I go on to my next point? My final point before I take questions is this. When you practice love, you will realize that love is something pragmatic. Real love is not about your affections or your emotions. Christian love is a practical service of someone else, a practical sacrifice towards someone else. When you start doing that in reality, you will realize that there are limits to your love and that there are conflicting interests in your love. And so I want to give you two maxims to help you as you work out what to do to be a faithful Christian. Number one, wherever there is a conflict of love between a Christian and a non-Christian, your duty is always to the Christian first. Let me give you an example. Say that there are two children drowning in a lake, and you can only save one of them. It's obviously a horrible choice, and it is a given that you would want to save both. But if you knew one of them was a Christian from your church, and the other one was a total stranger, you would save the Christian from your church first. The second meditation is that you must recognize that you have personal limits in terms of your emotional, psychological, physical and material resources. And so you must love outwardly in these concentric circles outwards until you reach that limit. And when you reach that limit, there is no sin upon you for not being able to go further. And love is real love when it feels like a sacrifice. If it feels easy, it's not a love. A love always has a cost. That's the price of what it is to love. For God so loved his world, finish the verse with me, that he sent his only Son to die for the world, that those who believe in him will not perish but have eternal life. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen?
I have a question.
Yes.
It was a pretty rough example between the Christian and the non-Christian and who to save.
Yeah.
My argument is that the Christian, you will have all eternity to be with them in heaven, where they're going if they drown. It's awful that they're drowning, but they are going to a better place, and we know that objectively. So why is the other person not the top priority? Because the Christian, they're going to heaven.
I understand your argument.
Yeah.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I disagree with this position is because our churches, and I'm guessing you go to one of these churches, often distort the Christian life through the prism of evangelism. I'm a full-time evangelist. I do this all week. So when I say I'm committed to evangelism, no one should disbelieve me. But if your entire life is filtered through the prism of evangelism, you are living a distorted Christian life. Your love for the church, love is connected to knowledge. The way that you love someone is because you know them. If you look in Scripture, knowledge and the love are always very closely linked together. These two things are bedfellows in Scripture, knowledge and love. Why do you love your mother more than the random woman you see down the street? Because you know your mother. Why do you love your children rather than some random child you see on the street? Because you know your children. Why do you love? Why then should you save the child that is drowning in the lake from your church rather than the child who is a stranger to you, because you know the child from your church. You can't love someone deeply unless you know someone deeply. Imagine that you're married to someone and they don't know anything about you after 20 years. How many of you would start to question that person's love? Put your hand up. Would you question that person's love? So clearly, the love of someone and the knowledge of someone are interlinked. And that is part of the reason why our loyalty is always to the Christian first. Because inside the Christian is the Holy Spirit. And we know the Holy Spirit because the Holy Spirit is in us. Any other questions on the topic?
Angel Gabriel was one. You're right.
Any questions on the topic? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? Okay, any questions about any aspect of the Christian faith? This is your chance. Use it or lose it.
How do I get better at evangelism? I'm at work.
Yep.
And okay, that's a bad example. I'm just out. I'm talking to people.
How do you get better at evangelism?
Yeah.
Christians, if you want to get better at evangelism, stop shouting at people on street corners. You're just annoying and irritating, and you're doing a terrible job. The place of public debate in our culture and our society is on social media. Take your arguments onto social media. That is where the place of public debate is. And so Christians should be on social media to evangelize our culture. That's what we need to be doing. And learn apologetics. Because the days of preaching are over. Why do Christians think that it is a good idea to go onto the street and do at people what they experience in church? They sing at people. They preach at people. We don't live in that culture. We live in a culture where people expect dialogue. They expect inclusion. That's the culture that we live in. And so our evangelism must be adapted to the culture that we're evangelizing. And so don't do things at people, engage people in which you make the argument for the Christian faith. Any other question? You had a question about the Christian faith.
By grace are ye saved.
I can't hear you, bro. You're going to have to speak up.
My question is, how did you decide? Because it's 2 contradictory verses in the Bible. Acts 1:18, I think Matthew 27.
Right, well, do you think I'm studying with an encyclopedic knowledge of every verse in the Bible? Get the verses out, read them. Do you want to come and debate?
Okay, cool, let's debate.
Okay, we're going to have a debate about the contradictions in the Bible versus the contradictions in the Quran. Do you understand? We're going to talk about contradictions in the Quran, right? That was good questions. I'll show you some.
He had the winepress alone. There was no of the people, there was none with him. Jesus Christ,
right, you're going to have to talk up for all of these people.
The winepress alone means he alone.
So where am I going first?
For sin, the just, the unjust. They might bring us to God.
Matthew
And there's
27:5.
no other sacrifice. The sacrifice of the lamb cannot take away your sin. The sacrifice of animals on Jewish altars cannot take away your sin. Christ made one sacrifice for sin.
Now this man purchased a field of iniquity.
Wait, where am I going? Acts.
Acts 1:18.
Right,
We were singing in the church this morning about the blood of Abel and the blood of Christ. The blood of Abel cried to God from the ground.
Go and read aloud.
When Abel had been murdered by his brother Cain,
inequity and falling headlong, he burst open and died, and entrails gushed out. Did he commit suicide by hanging, or did he fall headlong and gushed out?
Excuse me.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. The brother tries to say that this is a contradiction. I'm not your microphone man, you put it on, I'm not putting it on for you. So, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm fine.
Chop, chop.
Sorry. It's leave.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you all heard him say that there's a contradiction. Did you hear him read the two verses? Good, right? So let's read carefully the two verses again. Matthew 27:5.
Yeah.
And he threw the pieces of silver into the temple sanctuary and departed, and he went away and he hanged himself. Did it say he died? He just hanged himself. Is it possible to hang yourself without dying?
No.
Thank you very much.
May.
No, ladies and gentlemen. It says that he went away and hanged himself. Did it say where he went away and hanged himself? No, it didn't. So now read Acts chapter 1, what verse?
18.
Verse 18, where it says, now this man acquired a field with the price of his wickedness, and falling headlong, he burst open in the middle, and all his intestines gushed out. So, if he went away and bought a field, ladies and gentlemen, and then he hanged himself, and the rope snaps, and he falls head first, and his guts burst out, is there a contradiction?
There's a contradiction.
No, there is not a contradiction.
There's a contradiction.
No, wait 1 second.
Okay.
You're going to do a debate?
Yeah, it's fine.
Right.
It's fine.
There is no contradiction between these two verses because it's known as literary telescoping. Literary telescoping is when you focus in on some details and you ignore other details. Let me give you an example of that, and then I'll let him reply to my argument, and then I'll show him a contradiction in the Quran. If all of you right now went away and wrote out a detailed account of what you have seen in the last 5 minutes, and you came back, you would bring back different accounts focusing on different details. Do you recognize that? Right. Well, that's what's happening in Luke and in Matthew and in the different Gospels. They're focusing on different details. It is not a contradiction. Go on, your reply.
That doesn't make any sense though, because if you hang yourself, then you commit suicide. And if he's falling headlong and his entrails are gushed out, that means there's two contradictory verses.
It didn't say that he died. It didn't say when his insides gushed out, that's when his death was.
Okay, but when you're...
Even when he hung himself, you could say he died.
Yeah.
And then, with the brittleness of the trees,
but you're doing...
His body, could have caused his body to hit...
Yeah, but you're doing hypotheticals though. If you hang yourself, you're gonna most likely die. If your entrails gush out and your guts come out, how are you not dead?
Right, guys. I mean, everyone else gets the point. But now let's see if he can defend a contradiction in the Quran.
Okay, let's
So
go.
you're going to need your Quran.
Okay, cool.
So turn to Surah 7.
Okay, 1 second.
Surah 7, Ayah 109.
1 second. Okay. Surah 7.
Surah 7, 109.
1 second. I've got another question as well.
After this, yeah, certainly.
No, after
Right,
this.
Surah
Okay.
7, 109. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you read it when you're ready.
1 second. Okay.
Read it loud and clear.
This one right here, yeah?
Surah 7, 109.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. Said the eminent among the people of Pharaoh, indeed, this is a learned magician.
Right. Who was speaking? Who was speaking?
Allah, no?
No.
I don't know.
Surah 7. Listen. Everybody listen. Surah 7, Ayah 109, said the chiefs of the people to Pharaoh. This is indeed a sorcerer well versed. Who was speaking? Pharaoh or his chiefs? The chiefs were speaking, right? Do you agree? The chiefs were speaking.
Okay, carry on.
Now turn to Surah 26, Ayah 33.
1 second. Surah 26, Ayah
33.
Okay.
There you have the word, by the word of the Lord, Jesus Christ.
This one right here, yeah?
Surah 26, 33.
Might be 34, Bob.
Yeah, 34, sorry, my
This one.
apologies. 34, yeah, go on, 34.
Okay. And he drew out his hand.
34. Surah 26, 34.
Yeah,
Thank you for the correction.
I'll find it now. Okay, this one, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Pharaoh said to the eminent ones around him, indeed, this is a learned magician.
Right, so who's speaking there?
Pharaoh.
Who was speaking in the other verse?
Pharaoh as well, no?
No. Read it carefully.
Okay.
Read it carefully. Let's do it again. Because the brother hasn't picked up on the contradiction. Put your hand up if you picked up on the contradiction.
Okay, the chiefs.
Right? In Surah 7, Ayah 109, the chief priests say to Pharaoh, this is naught but a learned magician.
But they're different surahs.
But in Surah 26:34, Pharaoh says the same words to the chief priests. So who said what to who?
Why can't they both say it to the priests?
But that's not what the either verse says, is it?
The chief said it.
But that's not what either verse says,
and then
is
the
it?
Pharaoh says it.
Now, do you see what he's doing?
What am I
He's
doing?
reconciling the two verses by saying something that neither verse said. He's saying, well, they said it to one another. But when you read the story in context, what you realize is exactly the same moment in the story, and the speaker changes, but the words do not. What's actually happened is Muhammad told the story twice, and he didn't remember the order in which he told the story. But he says, well, they could say it to one another at precisely the same time, at precisely the same moment, even though there's no verse in the Quran that says that.
Okay.
Now, but he says that when I use a similar kind of defense in the Bible, it's not allowed. That you have to insist on backing one verse or the other. You can't reconcile them. But when I showed exactly the same type of contradiction in the Quran, he used exactly the same kind of defense that I did. But when he uses it for the Quran, it's good. When I use it for the Bible, it's bad. That's called a double standard. And either he accepts there's a contradiction in the Bible, in the Quran, or he accepts that there's no contradiction in the Bible.
I'll show you.
Which do you want to do?
No. 1 second. I'll show you a contradiction right now, yeah?
No, deal with the one we're talking about.
Right now.
Deal with the one that we're talking about.
Yeah, I've already dealt with it.
No, you haven't. Deal with what I've just said.
They're two separate accounts. He hanged himself or he fell headlong.
Deal with what I've just said.
Yeah, what have you just said?
She wasn't even listening.
Say it again. I was listening.
He
but
wasn't
say it
even
again.
listening.
Say it again.
Because the Dawagandis come here with their script, and apart from their script, they're incapable of thinking. Let's say this again, very slowly.
Okay. Slowly.
The brother showed a verse, two verses in the Bible, that can easily be reconciled. One verse says that Judas hanged himself, but it didn't say he died, and it didn't say where he died. The other verse says that he hanged himself. The other verse says that he fell head first in a field. You can hang yourself without dying, fall head first, and die in a field. Those two things can be reconciled. The Quran has two verses. One verse says that the chief said to the Pharaoh, this is a magician. The other verse says that the Pharaoh said to the chief priests, this is a physician, a magician. These are contradictory verses. Was it Pharaoh or the chief priest? Was it Pharaoh or his chiefs? He says, well, you just reconcile it. You just say they both spoke. So he's using the defense that I use for Acts. But when I use it for Acts, he says no.
Mate,
when he uses it for the Quran, he says yes.
Yeah, because
you
I can't even speak.
You asked me to re-articulate my argument because you were not listening. I have now restated my argument as per your request.
Okay.
Now deal with my argument.
Okay, I accept your argument. Now let's move on to another verse.
Thank you.
Let's go to another verse. No. Let's go to another verse. Let's go to another verse.
No contradiction in the Bible.
Yeah. No contradiction. We'll see about that. Okay. Okay, so there's one right here, yeah? So this is 2 Kings.
2 Kings
8:26.
8:26 is about the age of a king.
Yeah.
Yeah, you read the verse.
Okay, cool. So 2 Kings.
Put your hand up if you can't hear him.
2 Kings 8:26. Okay. Ahaziah was 22 years old when he became king, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Athaliah, the granddaughter of Omri, king of Israel. Okay. How old was Ahaziah? 22, right?
22.
22 years old. And he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem, yeah? Now, if you go to 2 Chronicles 22:2, it says Ahaziah was 42 years old when he became king and reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Athaliah, the granddaughter of Omri. So my question is, was Ahaziah 22 or 42?
Okay.
They're two contradictory verses. Okay, 22 and 42.
Right. So you all heard the contradiction stated. Was it 22 or 42? Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you've got to get deep into your knowledge of the Christian faith. The contradiction that he's talking about exists in certain translations. They're particularly connected to the old translations in English.
So it's been mistranslated?
No, don't interrupt. Did I interrupt you?
Okay.
If you interrupt me again, I will interrupt you at leisure.
Okay, cool.
So don't interrupt.
Cool. Okay, carry on.
This is no caliphate, ladies and gentlemen. And no one here is his dhimmi. Now.
Neither is he.
Right, exactly, I'm not.
Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen. So, in our oldest versions and translations from the King James, they were based upon only a small number of Hebrew texts and only a small number of the available texts that we have today. And indeed, there is a scribal error in some late manuscripts of the Hebrew that then appears in the English as he is quoted 22 or 42. However, what he doesn't know, and what probably most of you don't know, is that since those early translations, we've discovered the Bible in more ancient scripts, like the Dead Sea Scrolls, and in other languages, including Ethiopic, Syriac, Coptic, Serbian, and a number of other translations, including Aramaic, and a whole number of Greek versions in which the scribal error does not appear. And in both verses, the age is 22. The error is connected to a certain line of Hebrew manuscripts, not all Hebrew manuscripts, and it doesn't exist outside of the Hebrew manuscripts, except for in translations that used those corrupted versions. The difference between 42 and 22 is a single dash. A single dash, ladies and gentlemen. That's the difference. And there was a mistake that appears, and he's quietly articulated it. However, most scholars of the Bible just dismiss this as a scribal error, because other translations made independently and other documents made independently don't copy that error. They have 22 in both verses. And so it is simply due to a scribal error. But it demonstrates that the Christians were conservative in maintaining the manuscripts that they received, even in preserving errors. Even in preserving errors when those errors became apparent. And that answers the contradiction. Okay. It's due to a scribal error. It changes only the age, doesn't change the message, the doctrines, or the story in any way or any aspect of the Christian faith, and it is counter-witnessed by other manuscripts from around the world that give 22 in both passages. Reply to that, and then we'll go on to a contradiction in the Quran.
So you've obviously admitted it. It's a clear scribal error, as you said. So we'll move on. It's an error in the Bible.
No, we're going to go on to the Quran.
No, it's an error in the Bible.
We're going to go on to the Quran.
Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, let's go to the Quran.
Okay, cool.
Let's look at some scribal errors
He's
in
angry.
the Quran.
He's angry. He's not happy. He's angry that I've got that. I've misquoted him with the verse. He's not happy with the
he
verse.
thinks that I'm angry because I'm projecting my voice.
No, I don't.
How wrong he is.
You've said the word error like 5 times.
It's a scribal error, yes.
Yeah.
So what do we do about the scribal errors in the Quran? Let's look at some scribal errors in the Quran.
Okay.
So, for example, this is a figure taken by Dr. Brubaker from the Museum of Islamic Art, showing a multiple post-production correction in a 7th century Quran. You can see lines have been added above the manuscript. You can all see that? The lines are added by a later hand. Someone comes along and adds words to the Quran that he finds.
Wait, let me see it.
In other words, there is a scribal error in the Quran that someone later is coming and correcting. Exactly what I just said about the Bible. Explain to me why someone is revising an Arabic Quran and writing words into the Quran that weren't there when he read it.
Let me just see it. Let me
there you go.
1 second. Multiple post-production corrections in a first and 7. What's this book called?
Corrections in early Quran manuscripts.
Okay. 1st and 7th century Quran. So you're saying that because the lines they're not straight?
No, these were added by a later hand. This is a different pen. Someone else has added these words there.
It looks like the same.
Passage.
It looks like the same pen.
It blatantly doesn't. Look, bro. Look. This is the line, and then the line continues there, and then someone, just like we do in English, has written another statement above it there. Just like you do in English.
But what if that's another line?
It's not another line. You can tell it doesn't because it doesn't start there.
It could be another line, though.
Bro, you don't know what you're talking
about. It can be another line.
It isn't another line.
But why can't it be another line? How do you know it's a correction?
It is a correction. It's being added. Listen. Let me give you an example of a correction to the Quran manuscript. So the one that I'm talking about is connected to the Codex Petropolitanus. Okay? And in that Petropolitanus, there is a correction found in the manuscript in the Museum of Islamic Art in Doha, where the words are inserted, wa amilu al-salahati thumma taqwa wa amanu. The main insertion has been made above the main line of the text, except possibly for the first position of wa amilu, about which I have some questions because of the way it is written. This insertion looks to be the work of the original scribe and was probably made soon after the first writing. So he is correcting his own manuscript. If people are correcting the manuscripts of the Quran, how sure can you be that words of the Quran have not been lost or changed?
Okay, let me just one second.
This is from a book I recommend that you all get.
What's the name?
It's a study by Dr.
Okay, fair enough.
Daniel Allen Brubaker called Corrections of Early Quranic Manuscripts, in which he documents multiple corrections to the text, just like the one we talked about in the Bible.
Okay.
So deal with it.
I'll do my research. I'll do my research
Take
and come
Dr.
back.
Daniel Brubaker,
I'll
Rich,
do
and
my
go buy this
research
book.
and come back. Okay.
And Dr. Daniel Brubaker, you owe me.
Some royalty.
So go on, deal with that.
No. I'm gonna do my. Listen, I haven't discovered that before.
He's never
so
discovered it before.
I'm gonna do my research and come back and genuinely answer it. I've never seen that before. You showed me a random book with random writing. How am I supposed to know what it's meaning?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? How do I know you're not lying? What if that's just another line inside? Like, how am I? Let me do my research.
Right.
I would accept
What's your
it.
name, bro?
Omar, O-M-A-R.
This is how much I love Omar. This is my copy of the book. It now belongs to him. There you go.
You sure?
Yes. There you go.
Okay.
That's yours.
Okay.
You said you wanted to research
Okay,
it.
no, I'll research it.
Go
I'll
away and
genuinely
research it and
Genuinely research
recognise that your attacks on the Bible are misplaced and your certainty that the Quran has never been changed is also misplaced. Do you want to go another round? Do you want to bring out another error, another contradiction?
I mean, I've already got one contradiction down that you said was a mistranslation, so
No.
you can go again.
No, you didn't get it. The fact of the matter is the problem of textual variance exists inside Quranic manuscripts.
And does it exist inside the Bible?
Yes.
Okay, so the
So
Bible's
your
been changed.
Quran is like our human Bible.
That's the problem.
So what does that say about the Quran? If I have successfully managed to compare your divinely protected, divinely inspired book to what you think is a corrupted man-made book, what does that say about your Quran?
Okay.
Because you're working to a false assumption, Omar. You think that we Christians believe about our Bible what you believe about your Quran, and we don't. Textual variants in the biblical manuscripts are no threat to the Christian belief. Let me ask you this question, going back to your example.
Okay.
He showed you the contradiction, which I've explained, between the ages 22 or 42. Does that change the fact that Jesus Christ rose from the dead for the Christian?
Okay.
Answer that question.
Let me answer the question.
Yeah, that question.
Yeah, okay. What it shows is this. The Bible was sent by God. If there are errors in the Bible, it must have been mistranslated. Therefore, it's not the perfect book. Therefore, it wasn't sent by God and corrupted.
Can I reply?
Yeah, you can
Right.
reply.
Firstly, he's just chucked Islam under the bus.
No, what
Because
happened?
the Quran says that the Injil
No,
was sent
let me
by
respond
God.
to this.
And if
Let me
the
respond to this.
Injil is corrupted, then that means it wasn't sent by God.
Let me respond
And if
to
it
this.
wasn't sent by God, the Quran is wrong for saying it was sent by God. So the Quran is in error and the
Okay.
Quran is not from God. Literally.
Okay.
His desire to attack the Bible has chucked his own book under the
Let
bus.
me respond to this.
But notice he didn't answer my question. My question was, what does the age of this king, how does the difference in the age of this king affect the Christian's belief in the resurrection of Jesus Christ? I've given him one chance, he didn't answer it. He now has a second chance to answer that question. Listen carefully to see if he answers that question. I'll say it again. The contradiction that you showed, even though I have explained it, even though I have shown you have the same problems in your Quran,
And I'll do my research.
how does that contradiction, in quote marks, affect my belief in the resurrection of Jesus Christ?
Okay, let me answer you, Sam. So it doesn't affect his belief in Jesus Christ, but it still shows that the Bible has been corrupted. That's the answer to the question.
Right, so let me reply to that.
Okay.
Thank you for admitting that it does not affect our belief in the resurrection of Jesus Christ,
That is the first intelligent argument that this brother has made in this debate.
Not the textual
No,
variants.
no,
Okay.
lady, you didn't even know they were textual variants until I told you.
Okay.
No, ladies and gentlemen. No, ladies and gentlemen. The fact of the matter is, what Omar doesn't understand, and what all of the Muslims don't understand, is that our faith as Christians is not dependent upon textual perfection. The faith of the Christians is based upon the resurrection of Jesus. And as he has admitted, his contradiction in no way affects that belief. But the textual variants in the Quran, where the Hafs version of the Quran says that the prophets fought in the way of Allah, and the Warsh version of the Quran, which say that the prophets died in the way of Allah, is a contradiction that proves that the Quran has not been preserved by his words. And by his words, he has hanged his Quran.
The Quran says it can't have any contradictions. If it has, then you know that it's not from Allah.
It's all right, let him respond. Respond to what I said. Yeah, respond to that.
Okay, so about the Injil, right? He's saying the Bible. We don't believe that. We believe the Injil sent to Jesus Christ, but it was corrupted. So what you have in the Bible is not the Injil that we're talking about. It's the same with the Torah. The Torah that we believe in, that Allah sent Moses, has been corrupted. So it's not the same Torah that we see today. It's the same with the Injil in the Bible. The Bible that you have today, we believe, and as shown, he believes, has been corrupted. The Injil that was sent to Jesus Christ at his time wasn't corrupted, but it was corrupted over time. So that's the answer to the question. The Bible that you have today is not the Injil that we're talking about in the Bible. The same with the Torah.
Right.
And it says the Injil.
Okay. So let me just...
Just because it doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean it cannot make sense. Why do you believe?
I can school you on your deen, I can school you on my deen, I can school you on the history. It doesn't change the fact.
Sorry.
As these Jews are fighting back. We don't take the knee.
They're fighting because there's invaders that have taken their land. And why should the people of that land...
Do you support Hamas?
I don't support anyone. What I'm saying is what you're doing is wrong.
I support Israel, I support the IDF, yes, 100%.
Do you support a genocide?
No, there's no genocide.
Of course
It's the first genocide in history where the population
How
has
can you deny
grown.
that,
The majority of people killed the terrorists.
No.
You guys will...
Where's your evidence that the vast majority of terrorists? Look at the death rate.
I actually have. Have you studied them?
Oh,
have you
studied
studied?
really
Okay.
closely.
So explain this to me.
Look at the age groups that have died.
Explain this
the
to me.
age groups that have died are mainly made up
So
of children
I
and
can
women.
categorically
What on earth are you
prove
talking
to
about
you-
when you say that they are the terrorists?
So where are you
the
getting your numbers
terrorists on
from?
the other side
Where
of
are
the
you getting your
fence, the
numbers
terrorists
from?
come from the
Hamas?
state of Israel.
Are you
They
getting your
don't
numbers
come
from the Hamas
Palestine.
Ministry of Health?
Oh, why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Because I have gone through those numbers
And so
I've
have
made
I.
videos about this
And so have I.
and shown how they've falsified the data.
Oh, have they? Oh,
I'll
that's
explain
interesting.
how.
So in
I'll
every
explain how.
In every other war in Gaza, the State Department in the US, the EU and the United Nations have backed all the figures that have come out in the previous massacres of the Gazan people. And now all of a sudden in this massacre, you want to dispute the figures. All figures in previous massacres have agreed with even the State Department.
I'm going to argue with you. I'm going to refute
Go
you
ahead.
now. So in this war, the Hamas Ministry of Health released the IDs of the people they said were killed. Now, Israeli IDs are the same as Palestinian IDs. What they are, they're 8 digits with a 9th check digit. And you can write a simple formula, which I've done, and I'm happy to share the data with anyone that's watching this. Get in touch with me, the Israel Advocacy Movement, like, follow, subscribe. Where I run the numbers, and they falsified the numbers.
Oh, what a surprise, they falsified
You
the
can do
numbers.
the same check. Forget what I say. Listen,
Hold on.
listen,
Who controls the population register?
You don't speak.
Who
What's that going to do? That just
Because
confirms what I'm
Israel
saying.
controls the population
That just
register.
confirms
You
what
don't
I'm
even
saying.
know your own history.
That confirms what I'm saying.
If Israel is saying the figures are wrong, they actually control that register.
What do they control?
They control the population register. They know the IDs of every
Let me know when
Palestinian,
you're finished.
and you know it.
Let me know when you're finished.
So why don't they dispute those
Are you
figures?
finished?
Because
They
they
do
know they're
dispute
right.
them. They do dispute them.
You only have to
Let
look at
him
the.
speak in peace.
You only have to look at the breakdown of the figures of those who've died, and anybody with any sense of any knowledge and a single brain cell can tell that the vast majority of those people that have died are young children. I'm talking about babies, 5 and 6 year olds, 10-year-olds, and women. The vast majority of them are children and women. How are they terrorists? How are they terrorists?
I'm just responding to your speaking.
How are they
Hold
terrorists?
up a second there now, bruv. Listen, I ain't come out here for Haribos. Please understand what is mass onslaught murder is murder. Would you like your wife to be murdered? Would you like your
That's why
mother?
we're fighting.
Would you like your
That's what
sister?
they came in to do.
So why
You're
the hell
standing
are
with the
you
murderers.
saying Allahu Akbar? And what the man
No, I wasn't
said
saying
there?
him. I was saying it you. You're speaking to me in Arabic, and I'm saying God is great.
And you talk about your fighting back as if history only started on October 7th. You never mentioned what happened before October the 7th. Why do we talk about October the 6th?
Before you pivot and run away.
4th? I'm
before
not
you
going to
pivot-
run away from you. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to run
So
away
then let's
from
stand
you.
and allow me to respond.
Yeah, carry
so
on.
first, I just want to make one thing clear. I was saying Allahu Akbar to the girl who was saying Astaghfirullah, not to anything else. Now what I would like to say is respond to you.
Yeah.
You just refuted yourself without realising.
No, I didn't. You can fact check everything I say.
Let me know when you finish.
Fact check everything I say.
Let me know when you finish.
Israel controls the population register.
So let me know
if you disagree with me, prove that I'm wrong.
That's what I'm trying to do, but you keep
Go on,
interrupting.
carry on then. Carry on.
So in refuting yourself, you confirm that the population register is controlled by Israel. What happens is, when a Palestinian is born, they have to report it to Israel, and there's an ID that's created which the Palestinian Authority in Israel oversee. And so every Palestinian that's born is given an ID number. So when the Hamas Ministry of Health released the IDs, if any of those are incorrect, Israel, or you, hear me out, because I'm going to explain how you can do it.
I know how I can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you've done the same research that I've done.
Oh, I
and
have.
you've read
Don't
the
you
same
worry
spreadsheet.
about it. That's why I'm standing here making sure I put you to
Okay,
right.
so can you explain how the ID works? How do you check them?
What do you mean I just check them? Israel controls it.
No,
They
got
have
nothing.
the,
You
they'll
can do
change
you
it
can do
according to what they
you
want.
can do it
but
within
the UN,
you
the
can't.
Red Cross, and every
Let me
single
explain
UN
why you're.
body
Let me explain
has
why you're
checked
talking
those
out your
figures,
metaphorical
and they know
arse.
they're correct. No, they're not. So all these
So
international
allow me to speak.
all these international bodies
Allow me to
are
speak.
wrong, but
So
yet we're
allow me to
supposed to
speak.
believe the
Allow
Israelis.
me
Are you
to
kidding me?
allow me to speak. I'm going to tell you how it works now, and then you tell me how you can falsify this. So the IDs follow a format where it's an 8 digits with a 9th check digit. It doesn't matter whether it's my Israeli ID or a Palestinian ID. Any ID that's attached to a real person has to follow a valid format. If you can fake a number, so you can create an 8-digit number and then create a fake check digit which will validate, but you can't do it the other way around. Because if you have an invalid ID, which means it's the wrong format, it's not a real ID. So for instance, if you have a passport ID number in the UK, you can put it into a system, and irrespective of what's saved in a database, you can run it against the formula to see if it's valid by running the check digit. And so the Hamas Ministry of Health released their data, and up to 6% of it is invalid check digits. So that valid IDs.
And you have tasted that. You are dirty. It's free to speak. It's free to speak. You are dirty. You are dirty.
Go and check your mothers. Check your mothers. Check your mothers. Check your mothers. Check in the grave. Check her in the grave. Check her in the grave.
You are bitch. You're a bitch. You're like a whore. You get
So this is Shalini, and she was at the Tommy Robinson protest yesterday, and she's debating the Muslims. Selena. Selena. What did you think? Hi there, how are you? You okay? What did you think of yesterday's protest and how do you think it went?
Very good. It was marvelous.
So you did a speech there as well. How did you find it?
Very nice. I was privileged. I was given an opportunity to go and speak and let the world know what it is all about. Let the world know. Let the world know. Let the world know the truth.
You are a bitch. You are a bitch. You are a whore. 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 You are a bitch. Yes. Hello. This woman is so fucking bitch and a whore. She's not anything. She's as ugly as a shit. Look. Look her face. Black shit. Dirty. Fucking bitch. You fucking bitch. You fucking bitch. Yo, I smell you pussy. I smell your pussy. Smell dirty. You are dirty. You are dirty, you fucking bitch.
Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch. She said it. Muhammad is a bitch. Muhammad is a bitch.
No. No. That's the way.
These Muda Muhammad shit people, they are spitting on me. They spat on me.
You were chatting shit. Shut up. Shut up.
No, stay there. Stay there. Sir, sir. Sir, these people, no, sir, I'm letting you know, I've got it on film, there's 60,000 people watching now. This lady, yeah, got DNA on spit. 60,000 people.
No, it's not irrelevant. It's not irrelevant.
It is.
You're fucking dumbass, that's why it's irrelevant.
You are a dumbass. You are the most dumbass. Go back to your filthy country.
Where are you from? Where is she from? Where is she from?
Buddha, she's a Buddha. I am Buddha. Can you
just a dumbass, sir. Shalini asked them for a spit kit. You want a spit kit? So it's taken as evidence.
We have a record. 3 people have spat on me.
Tell them you want a spit kit for DNA.
And now you don't try to send me out, you need to send them out. Yes. Why are you not sending them out? Those who spit, it's illegal to spit on somebody here in this
And
country.
there's DNA
this is not a
evidence.
Saudi. This is not a Dubai. This is not your Saudi stupid country. This is England. This is England. We live in a free country. We have a free speech. We have a free laws. You go back to your Sharia stupid laws countries. This is, if you live in this country, you abide by the laws of the country here.
Respect. You should be respect, okay? You know someone Minka? No,
Muhammad the idiot.
Racist. Your cow.
Okay.
Racist.
Anything?
Racist.
Racist word. You've been spat on. The spit contains DNA evidence.
Where is your cow? Where is your cow?
Stop following her, guys.
Because you know, the problem with this Muslim is they cannot defend their stupid idiot Islam. And they have only spitting, kicking, killing people. Islam is full about killing others and having peace by killing everybody. That is called Islam. The shit.
Why you believe in Buddha? She believes in the Buddha. Why are you drinking Buddha? Hello.
What do you want me to say?
So the other gentleman has now been taken out
Yes,
of here.
yes, very good.
60,000 people are currently
Yes,
watching you.
yes.
What do you want to tell them that just
Okay,
happened?
I want to tell them.
Racist.
These Muslim people, they are lost in the cult of the devil, Shaitan, who is Allah. And these Muslim people, they cannot defend their own faith, but they have no mouth. When we ask them 10 questions, when we ask them questions about their filthy Islam, they have no answer. If you think your religion is right, you should use your mouth to defend your religion, not your spit, not your kick, not killing. These Muslims, the terrorists are Muslims, the rapists from Pakistan and Bangladesh are Muslims, and the grooming gang is from Pakistan. Pakistan meaning means, brothers, Pakistan meaning means holy land. That is a shit land of Muhammad.
Nuclear power. We are coming to India.
You know, they have no guts to defend their stupid, filthy religion. But they know how to spit, they know how to kick, they know how to kill others. That's all they know.
Country, hey, Buddha. Buddha, you come to my country. Don't bring your
So
Buddha here.
his Muta mother is following a sex addict.
It's
filthy
illegal.
Muhammad, disgusting
I
man.
will not let you drink Buddha
Yes.
here. Simple.
Any other question?
We believe in real Jesus worshiping.
What I'm interested in is making sure that the criminal justice system in this country works.
Yes.
And an offence has just taken
Yes.
place.
You know this-
officer,
yes.
listen to me, this officer has a duty to follow up any complaint you've made.
Yes.
If he doesn't, we've got the evidence.
Yes.
And 60,000 people are
I'm
currently
going to take
watching.
it.
Did you
So
see
what
it come
shots
out?
are-
I'm going to take it.
Evidence.
We've got evidence.
Did you see it come out?
See what come out?
No. What evidence have you got?
Arey, you
Hold
stupid
on,
man! Video!
Hold on.
Stupid man, video!
Did it come out from his mouth? Did you see it come out? Hello.
What do you think of what just happened? What do you think of what just happened to you a second ago?
That's what I'm telling. These Muslims are thick-head Muslims. They don't know how to defend their religion. They only know how to kill. They only know how to rape. They only know how to spit. They only know how to kick. That's all they
Do you
know.
think the police will listen to you?
And they worship 5 times a day. They go to Allah, the devil, and they pray 5 times a day to that idiot Allah. That's what they do.
Do you think the police will listen to you following the incident?
Yes.
And have they said anything so far to you?
Pardon?
Have the police said anything to you about the incident?
We are going to talk. Let them sort it out.
No, you not
Let them
come
sort
to
them out.
Christian. You stick your Buddha in the cow.
Okay.
Who let the deal? Who let the deal? Who let the deal?
So for the people watching, I'm allowing you to
Rastaman.
watch because it educates people in regards to
You
how
believe in Bob Marley, you know.
some people
You're
are.
the Bob Marley
You
star.
are
Stick
demonstrating
to Bob
your
Marley.
ignorance.
Yeah.
Go, carry on, demonstrate your ignorance.
I'm not
Continue.
ignorant. I want to see evidence of breach of law. Go on, show some evidence. Where's the evidence?
So, my point
Where's
is,
the evidence?
these Muslims, they want to live in a Western country, but they don't want to follow any law, but they want to follow their Muta sex addict Sharia law in this country. Stupid Sharia laws in this country. Go back to your country, in that Muslim stupid countries. Go back and put your Sharia law in your back passage. Put the Sharia law in your back passage. Put the Sharia law.
Crazy talking.
Hey, shut up.
Stand back.
If I kick your ass now, you will be there. You will be there.
That is violence.
If I kick you now, if I kick you will be stuck in the tree. So don't try me. Don't try
He's
me.
committing a crime for inciting violence. You want to kick his ass? That is wrong, madam.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you know, these, yeah, please ask, please, sorry.
I want to go and speak to the police
Yes.
to find out what actions they
They're
are
going
going to
to take,
take
yes.
in regards to, because they're failing in their duty.
Yes.
And this gentleman
No, they
on my
haven't
left,
don't criticize my police people. You don't. The justice is you can't criticize. We've got
to
the
my
best
left. No.
justice in
Do
the
not
world.
wipe
on it.
No, do not wipe.
Rasta.
Do not wipe.
You do it, and then you come and
have the
help.
best
You
justice
have a
system
double
here in my
standard.
country.
You have a double standard.
I
The
know.
Muda Muhammad
John.
filthy double standards.
Why are you angry?
Shut up.
Why are you angry?
You play double standard because of that idiot Muhammad.
Later. Excuse me, sir. No, do not wipe it.
Thank you. You were there yesterday. Yes. Three people spat on me. We have the videos. If you're not going to do anything, I'm going to take action.
Shalini, do you want to make an allegation?
Yes.
Because
Three people.
I'm here to defend.
You haven't done so. 60,000 are watching.
We need evidence, sister. We need evidence, madam. We need evidence.
Do you want to make a complaint? If not, I've got other things to do. What do you want to
Tell
do?
your Muhammad the idiot to calm down in the grave.
If you want to come and make an allegation,
Yes, yes.
So Shalini is now going to speak to the police. So it's important that proper processes are followed.
What miles
And
of put some curse on you now?
what is important is that if the rules have been broken, the police have a duty to investigate. So what I'm arguing is that if Shalini has made an allegation that she's been spat on, there is DNA evidence in that spit, and there's a spit kit that the police have, and they should be using their rules to get the evidence off her with a view to identifying the perpetrators. That is so simple. What's hard about that? Big up.
I just checked. There's video evidence on my
I've got it
camera.
already.
Yeah. So if you play back the footage, you'll see the guy spat on Shalini.
So there's 61.1 thousand of you who are currently watching, and you can see exactly what's happening down there at Speaker's Corner. But this is a regular occurrence, and what is important is that you apply the rules. I believe in doing things the proper way, and Shalini has just taken her allegations to
We
the
have the
police.
video of those people shooting.
Oh, you've just...
Yeah, I'll
Because
check.
I'm not going to
I'll
stop
check
the
on
live
that.
Show
yet.
them, show them.
I'll check.
But listen, the important bit is do not be wiping
Yes.
off your... That is evidence.
I will not wipe the
And I'm
script.
asking
The script
them
is still
to...
here. I will not wipe my script. Can you watch the
No, I'm saying don't wipe it. If they want to wipe it, they can wipe it, but you couldn't. Just go in private and speak with the police.
There.
Do you want to show it?
Yeah.
I'll just hold the camera.
Do you want to hold this? You can see.
Go on, you can go over there. Just go and show them.
Shall I show them?
Yeah, go on.
It's currently live everyone can hear you.
She's giving us details.
No idea.
You can see there's video.
Go and look, you'll find that F2 she's there.
Huh?
Go and look and you'll find out.
You're going to get in front of the camera. So recently what just happened, someone spat on Shalini and she's now giving her details to the police as live updates as they follow, but it was getting quite heated and then someone in a balaclava spat on her. So if you play back the footage, you can see spit landing on Shalini and someone actually spat on her. So she's giving her details to the police right now as we speak. And thank you very much for tuning into this live broadcast. My name's Louis Errington, I'm an independent journalist, and the police are doing what they have to do right now so they're getting all the evidence.
Makes an allegation, makes a complaint, and what I'm arguing is that she's been spat upon, therefore there's evidence in the form of DNA on her person, therefore. See, I know nothing, I'm an educated person with a camera. Are they going to be taking DNA spit kit to wipe off?
I hope they take.
And in a moment you will be returning back to...
The spit is still hanging. I did not wipe it.
So let's wait to see what the officers are going to do.
Why you want my address? For what? Yeah, so what are you going to come to my house for free? For what? You just, you want my number, I will give you my email also.
So if we need you to come to the site, you are assaulting. Some people are reluctant to let the police know, but if we are going to change certain behaviours that are being exhibited, it's important that you
because
give them your contact
people
details.
have spat on me. It is live on the camera. I asked the police officer to go and check the people faces who has spat on me, and I think we are going to do it. And then we go to the station and make an allegation against those 3 people. And I want some action to be done. This has been happening. All this kicking, hitting, stabbing, spitting, all this is happening from the Muslim people. I'm telling you, it is from the Islamic radical Muslim people, but nothing has been done so far. Hatun Tash was stabbed, and they took a long time to investigate on that. So this place is England. It is not an Arab country. This place
having a discussion with
safe,
the police,
and police people are here to
but
keep us safe. This is a free speech corner, and we are here to speak. We are not here kicking them. We are not abusing them. I'm not telling them a word or anything. I have the right to speak here. This is a debate between Christianity and Islam.
So what we want to see
they have no right
is
to do
evidence
anything
being
such.
swabbed and taken from Selene before she leaves
Three
this
people.
location.
Can you watch the video, sir? Yes. 3 people have spat on me. My ear, on my chest, and here, still on my ear. I have not wiped it. I have not wiped it.
Yes.
What? There was one tall guy, and that Muslim guy who was just standing here with the mobile.
You can see spit land on her.
Okay.
There. Can you see that? Yes.
Oh, you got it on your thing there, haven't you?
I got it on my thing here. Shall I show the viewers?
There was one tall guy who came.
If you go back.
Let me go back. Let me just.
You bitch, your pussy is stinky, that all that word he was using. I never said anything. Then I said, go and check your mothers. That's what I told him. That's all I told him. Yes. He was telling your pussy is stinky and all that. That all that.
Look, just see.
The second person is with the mobile, he was standing here.
I'm just letting you know that the gentleman here, I don't want to stop the live.
Same.
The gentleman, no, listen, I'm saying for a reason. The gentleman here has the evidence.
When I'm finished speaking to the victim, I was going to come over and speak to you.
No problem. But what I'm saying is, what we want to see, we want to leave him here today.
So, guys, if you see the video,
What swaps, what evidence to be able, So if you need to go, it's about gathering evidence.
Yes.
That's what you need to do.
Yes, I will come.
Okay, can I have the details of who's got the recording then?
Yeah. I've got no problem you taking. Do you want to show the...
I'll just show the recording.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to show thingy on there. This is the gentleman here.
This is what I saw.
We have left it too long. This country is dead
If you go
because
there.
of these monsters.
So I'm going to have to do to you, do I?
So, I'm now going to get in front of the camera and tell you exactly what is happening at this moment in time. So,
Please, where is he? Please keep the video.
no, listen, I've got it live on here, and I've got a perfect
We
recording.
keep the video, we put it on online.
No, listen, this is this is not about entertaining people after I've closed. This is about gathering evidence. So just to let you know, what is happening at the moment is that Shalini, some gentlemen have spat on her, and it's live on film. My colleague, who's now been interviewed by the police, he has the evidence on his mobile phone to show the police. I've got the evidence from his Twitter page. I've also got the evidence on an SD card. So when I finish, we will be able to produce that evidence. The important bit, quite often down here at Speaker's Corner, things happen and people are reluctant to report it. Therefore, the behaviours continue. What I've argued just now is that a person has been assaulted with spit. That's a criminal offence. Spit contains DNA. Do not be wiping the spit off and saying go away. No, you take that person, you go to a location that's clean, and the police can get that evidence with a spit kit. And I've seen it done in jobs I used to do. It's the reason I'm emphasising the importance of doing that. Take Shalini away, get the evidence. Once you get the evidence, you've got DNA of the individuals, and then you can start a process to stop this type of behaviour taking place. So Shalini is now being placed into a police van. She's going to be taken to a police station, and I'm told that they're going to be gathering evidence in the form, and I know they can do this. Normally they'll let it go, but I said no, you cannot let this happen, and there's too many people watching this. And I said to the police that there's over 60,000 people watching this. We're not going to let people get away with this. And I'll give the police my contact details. I have no problem with that. I have no fear, nothing to worry about, because I've done nothing wrong. I try to uphold the law. I'm a goody boy. You laughing at me? I like to think I'm a goody boy, you get what I'm saying? But I'm doing my civic duty here. So this gentleman here is a well-known YouTuber, and he is currently, tell his name.
Louis Arrington.
So look at Louis Arrington on YouTube. Big up. So he's now chatting with the old Bill. He's giving them evidence, and Louis is going to be the biggest YouTuber in this country in years to come. And I keep saying that. And I've known this young boy, and I'm next to his dad. Come here, Dad, talk to Street Mike, man. No, I didn't. No, you don't do. So there's Shalini now. So there's Shalini. So Shalini's now being taken away. Sir, I'm happy to give you my details if you require them. I've got no problem then. I'm not going to do it with a camera. Hold on. Let me turn this away.
Yeah.
For you watching, I'm just going to turn away. So
let's get the background as well. Yeah.
So as we've just seen, the police, so we were giving the evidence of what just happened to Shalini getting spat on. So I'll provide the video link online. But thank you very much for tuning in. My name's Louis Arrington. I'm an independent journalist. And what just happened, Shalini from Speaker's Corner was just spat on. Thank you. So I'll get an email from them. I'll be now going back into Speaker's Corner. Thank you for tuning in, everyone.
Right now, righteous.
I have to skip around. It's too
No, I do. I believe Genesis 3:8. Nothing else, eh?
Oh, Hyde Koku's there. There's debate over here. So we're going over to Hyde Koku now. He's speaking over there. Thank you very much.
Or the property of Alphabet, the superior company controlling to see that. So that's how, rather than open source information, and actually all software, all electronic communication in the world was originally run on something called SendMail. 80%, I think even today, is run on SendMail. So the background software that governs the dissemination of information was open source. But they made everything proprietary. And in this way, they accumulated huge amounts of capital because they controlled all the information about you. They knew everything you ever sent, everything you ever liked, everything you ever disliked, everything you looked at, and that was not only useful for corporate accumulation, because they could target you with an advert for one thing and target you with an advert for another thing, and in this way market to their advertising financiers the potential for selling unique products to individuals who definitely want them rather than another. So for example, I once discussed, one of my sons has got eczema. I once discussed with him on one message, I think it was on WhatsApp, about eczema, and then suddenly I got loads of adverts about eczema coming from left, right and centre. Eczema adverts, eczema cures and all the rest of it. And that's the way in which the internet was turned from a mechanism and a tool of liberation into an instrument for totalitarian surveillance and control. And by the way, the reason they were allowed to do that was because the NSA, National Security Agency, and the CIA collaborated together with these companies and said, you have control over the global information infrastructure as long as you give us backdoor access to everybody's information networks in the world. Their telephone, their email, their communications, their records, the whole lot must be accessible to the National Security Agency. And when someone working inside as a contractor for the National Security Agency, his name was Edward Snowden, when he revealed this, the PRISM program of Yahoo, Google and all the rest of it, working with the NSA to survey and monitor everyone's communication in the world, he was declared a terrorist criminal. and he had to go into exile. He lives in Russia now, where he's claimed asylum and been granted asylum, precisely because he revealed what the NSA were up to in monitoring, surveying and spying on everyone on Earth. Not only the individual, the population of the country, but also the governments of different countries as well. They were monitoring trade agreements, they were monitoring the phones and communications of United Nations negotiators, of the German government, of the Brazilian government, and all of them bowed down over and said, okay, NSA, you're so superior, you can do what you like. So that was the background up until last year. Then last year, when artificial intelligence came in, the artificial intelligence was a mechanism by which the big corporations, all of whom used to scream about climate change, climate change, climate change, suddenly they want to create more electronic power in order to power the artificial intelligence machinery, because every question you ask on ChatGPT is equivalent of having a light bulb on for 20 minutes. Every single question you pose on artificial intelligence, the algorithms on these ChatGPT. And the machines are heating up, you know. So there are two things that consume enormous amounts of electrical power. And those are crypto, and the other is cryptocurrencies, just numbers on a computer, algorithmic big numbers on a computer, and then the other is artificial intelligence. As I said, 20 minutes of a light bulb being on for each question you ask of ChatGPT. Good question, good question. But in any case, even if it's energy saving, it's still 20 minutes of light. So then the question came, well, how are you going to dominate the world with this? So of course, the big tech companies, the giant 7 tech companies, Elon Musk and co, they decided that the way to do this is to spend a vast amount, backed by the American government, on computer chips and computer storage and data processing that will enable America to become the big fat beast that controls the world. That was the idea. They would control the planet by artificial intelligence, knowing everything, seeing everything. There's a company called Palantir that operates out of Soho Square, number 20 Soho Square, and that's where they organise. Palantir comes from Lord of the Rings, and it's like a what do you call it? Like this glass crystal ball that you look into and you spy on everyone. That's what it was. So that's what Palantir. They don't even hide it. That's what they are. It's a spying organisation on behalf, in particular, on behalf of Israel. They are the only major company in the world that declared that they are fully in support of Israel when they started the war on the Palestinian people after October the 7th. Or better said, when they escalated the war to a genocide on October the 7th. And nobody's disputing that it's a genocide. Well, hardly, I don't think, hardly any. Even Haaretz newspaper, the Israeli newspaper, says it's a genocide. And anybody who looks at the scenes over the last week of the people returning to the north of Gaza, marching down the seaside, all in rags, with the whole of their cities destroyed, you can hardly not say it's Hiroshima and Auschwitz put together. That's what you've got in Gaza.
Ask the guy with the Israeli flag.
Well, he's an idiot, that guy. He's an idiot. I asked him a couple of weeks ago, and he's just an idiot. I mean, he's not even someone paid by the Israelis. He's just an idiot, basically. Now, the big corporations in America are tied in with the intelligence agencies of Israel, and the intelligence agencies of Britain are tied in with the Israeli intelligence agency as well. The consequence of that is, oh look, the police are coming.
I've got that.
Can someone speak Arabic?
Did that guy spit on you?
No.
He's also ticked me off. I'll show you the video.
He's also kicked me.
I'm out the way.
He's also kicked me. He's also insulted me too. I have videos. Finally. So he's spitting on people, kicking people. And he's admitted it just now. Finally, some action.
Brother, is someone speaking out of the English? Yes. Come, brother, please. No. Can you please come, brother? I want to know. Tell me what exactly you must be doing. No, he speaks English, bro. I cannot understand everything, sir. No. That's fine. That's what I need to know. Why you arresting me now? I need to know.
Is this the guy? Is this the guy?
Huh?
Is this the guy who's...
That's one of them, yeah.
One of them.
I want to get the thing in the hands.
Yeah, I did.
So for those of you watching, this is Speaker's That's the shot. Are you watching? Well, you don't know what's going on. Some guy spat on the She's gone off to the police station.
So this was one of the people who spat on Shalini before, and now he's getting arrested.
Because there's evidence one person in a spit kit. She's gone off to the police station and they've now arrested her. We've got it all logical and everything. Oh, is it? Oh, so I thought he was back. I know members of there's about 67,000, 68,000 at the moment. Yes, 68,000 people watching. This is, you know this is going to make the news. We got everything, man. Silly question. Can you watch it? I don't normally film this stuff, man. On this occasion, it's just... You don't know the rules. You're telling the rules. And when I said to them 68,000 are watching the top. It can work both ways. I don't know. They shouldn't do anything anyway.
Did you manage to?
Sorry.
Did you manage to catch it?
One of them.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm not going to shut down. Yeah, I don't know. You know what happened earlier on? Remember I said I put that thing on battery on, the little one? I put it on and I forgot to take it off. And it cut off. And when it cut off, I realised, but I had a spare on me, so within a minute it's back on again. Yeah, I don't know, but let's see what's going on. So for those of you who are watching, just to let you know that this was the person who was harassing Shalini, and the police are now doing what they're meant to do. Shalini has voluntarily gone to the police station to get evidence to be sworn from her neck to the hip. So she's voluntarily gone to the police. There's so much footage already exists of what happened. Let's see where it goes, but this is all on film.
So the police arrested so it's brilliant. Louis has been really good. He's showing the company well.
So we're now so Bob, can I just do a quick interview with you specifically what's happened and what your view is of the fact? So Bob, your timing has been perfect, and the reason why your timing is perfect is because an incident took place earlier on with Shalini, where Shalini was preaching and she was assaulted and spat on by various gentlemen. I don't know what their religion is, but she was spat on. And initially she was going to do nothing, but eventually I convinced her of the importance of reporting a crime to the police. The police spoke to her. They sort of let the person go. They weren't going to do nothing. Then I informed them or reminded them that there's DNA evidence in spit, and they should be taking her away and getting evidence from swabs. So she's voluntarily gone away to be swabbed, and there was about 3 perpetrators have now been arrested. What is your view, Bob, on the fact that amazingly when they find out that people are watching, that they're doing something? What's your view?
Well, my first thought is that, from the impression that I see of the police acting here, I was quite encouraged because for years and years we've watched as police have done absolutely nothing whilst Muslims assault people randomly, indiscriminately, and without any consequence. And so when I came here and I saw the action and I heard what had happened, I was quite encouraged, but now I'm discouraged because if it wasn't for your pressure and telling the police how to do their job, nothing would have happened again. And this really needs to be challenged within the Royal Parks Police, this apathetic attitude to crime connected to Speaker's Corner. Now, I agree you can't police every single crime, but surely you should be policing violent crime. And spitting on someone is an assault, and it needs to be dealt with. So, firstly, I want to applaud you for putting the police under pressure, and I want to thank the police, for finally acquiescing to that pressure and acting on it and actually doing something about it. Because unless the police do their job here, we're just going to see continued acts of violence in Speaker's Corner, and the police have a responsibility to make all the communities that use Speaker's Corner safe.
That's correct. But if I could come in there. You know me by now. It's not about me, but I accept the point you've made. But the important bit is they've taken notice, they've taken action, they've arrested the gentleman. Shalini's gone off to the station. Evidence is being gathered, and let's see the next stage in the process if something is being done. But that is a positive step.
It's a good act.
It's a good act.
Let me just jump in. Isn't it amazing how all of these jihadi dogs are always so brave against women? They're always so brave against women. They're always so brave against people that they can bully. And that tells you a lot about their attitude. One-on-one, to a man, they're all pussies. And when it comes to someone who's willing to stand up for them and can stand up to them, they leave them alone. They go after the women. And what is that saying about the Muslims and about what Islam teaches them, that they behave in that way? They're always brave against women, and the other Muslims don't stop them when women are being attacked and insulted. Now, to be fair, Shalini is a bit of a shock jockey, and she is a bit of a, her approach I don't think is particularly well suited to the corner.
I agree with you, and I've discussed that with her.
But you are allowed to be a troll at Speaker's Corner. And there are Muslims who troll people at Speaker's Corner. So why can't some Christians troll people at Speaker's Corner? So I'm glad they've been arrested. I hope the police continue to arrest Islamist dogs when they try to bully people and intimidate people. And I just want to say that the men that spat on Shalini, like, you jihadi dogs, you're just a bunch of cowards.
And what also makes me laugh is that when I reminded or mentioned to the police out of courtesy that this is live and direct on Tommy Robinson's Twitter page, and 67,000 people were watching, it makes a big difference.
But it shouldn't. That's the problem. But isn't that the problem, Street Mike? The police only want to enforce the law when they feel the pressure to enforce the law. So what's that saying about the calibre of the police officers?
The same thing happened with Uncle Sam.
Surely a police officer is in the police force because they have a desire to create an ordered society that is safe for everyone, and they have a sense of duty. So what is happening in the Royal Parks Police that it isn't an instinctive desire of duty to protect people from bullying and intimidation? Why is it they only act when they get exposed for not doing so? And that's the problem with the police in the Royal Parks, is that unless they feel the pressure from outside, they don't do anything. We've had how many murder attempts inside the corner?
Too many.
Too many. They tried to murder Hatun, they tried to murder Dr. Banda, right? And we've organised protests here because of that. Like, if the police don't do their job, then the people will start defending themselves, and then you end up in this bad arms race. You end up in this downward spiral. The way you stop that downward spiral is that the police actually have a sense of duty to take these wannabe jihadis, these wannabe bullies, these roadmen who think that they're super hard and that they're gangsters, that you take them out. And you cultivate within the park a place of debate and a place of speeches and a place of intellect, not a place where wannabe roadmen try to act the gangster towards little women because they're too chicken shit to go up against anyone that can stand up to them.
Excellent, Bob. I won't be asking you because for the
That's
last...
to you two as well, because I can see you mocking.
I was mocking him.
No, you're mocking me, bro.
But I won't be
off camera. Off camera, we got two people trying to be all intimidating.
They're masked up, aren't they?
So, Bob,
which already said something.
I won't be asking you about yesterday unless you want me to, because for the last few weeks I
You can ask if you want.
I will. So did you get the chance to visit or look at the event in Whitehall yesterday?
Yes. No, I have a confession to make.
Oh, God.
So I said that I was going to go last week, and then I ended up not going. And that's because I ended up just being like,
a normal person.
We're a normal person, like with a life outside of this kind of stuff. But it's absolutely right that people use the fullness of their democratic rights inside of a democracy. And you know, the people are entitled to challenge the abuse of our political institutions that we're seeing when activist judges are using the law to suppress narrative. There's something wrong inside the British courts, which is that the British courts are more concerned with procedure and left-wing politics than they are in capturing truth and pursuing justice. You know, and what that is creating is it's creating this sense of that the British courts are falling into the contempt of the British people, and and that's a dangerous place for a democracy to move towards. And so it is important not just that the courts uphold justice and act justly, but that they are seen to do so. And what we're seeing is that different people receive different sentences depending on who they are. So you're more likely to be thrown in prison if you say someone is a paedophile rather than if you're actually a paedophile, as we've seen in our courts. That if you support one kind of terrorism, you can get off scotch-free if you support Hamas terrorism. But if you call out Hamas terrorism, you can get chucked in prison and arrested. So the whole system is seen to be broken, and that's not good. It's not a good place for a democracy to be. It's not healthy for a democratic society to be.
Excellent stuff, sir. As normal, thank you very much. I'm going to go back and catch up with other debates. But are you on your way out now, or you?
No, I'm going to do some debates if I can find someone who wants to debate.
Oh, all right then, man. But listen, thank you very much. and off camera, off mic.
You don't want to debate. See my point? You don't want to debate.
But off camera, off mic, I wanted to say something quickly.
Off camera, off mic.
That's very specific, isn't it?
Sorry, it was microphone that is.
It's always private with you to
Right guys, I'll be back in a second. Somewhere in there, in the mix. Have a good day, guys.
They're so scared.
Second World War. Fact hiker. Fun hiker.
They didn't have time to recruit Algerians and other soldiers.
Yeah.
I doubt very much. I doubt. I know that. I doubt. I didn't say you were. But I mean, let's be quiet. Let's also get some facts. Let's also get some facts straight. Britain, you know, when people talk about migration, Britain is a country. I mean, I was in Tenerife last week.
Sorry, you haven't actually asked my question.
Because I don't think it's relevant.
Please, what I said to you.
You don't have to. I'm arguing.
You asked you about the Democrats.
You said depopulation.
Carry on, thank you. Why is it that the Democrats
1 minute, let me finish.
I got nothing. I'm not standing.
Because you can't give an answer.
I don't give a shit about the Democrats. That's what I said earlier on.
So why did they lose then?
Because they're useless.
Correct.
It's dangerous. So the left-wing party in the States are useless.
Just a minute ago, I argued. I said Donald Trump was elected.
Their job, and then Donald Trump's going to do his job. They're both part of the same thing. They're both.
Well, you can see that. You can see that because, for example, in the fate of Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg, only a couple of years ago, was the champion of LGBT, was the champion of diversity, was the champion of woke, was the champion of COVID controls. And now all of a sudden he says, oh no, I didn't mean it, mea culpa, I don't support that, I'm all behind Donald Trump. And so, the point is the multi-billionaires will swing whatever way what they fancy. They don't give a damn about any principled question.
True.
Nor, by the way, does Donald Trump.
Yes, right.
Nor, by the way,
True.
does Donald Trump.
True.
And Elon Musk, you see, that's the point I was making
He's the
earlier on.
dangerous one.
They've received billions and billions in subsidy from the American government to try and gain artificial intelligence control of the world.
And electric cars.
Hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, you know, and then based on what? What is the great achievement of Elon Musk? One is the satellites.
Electric cars.
I mean, this is going to get like the Romans bit in. What have the Romans ever done for us? The issue over it is electric cars. If you check back about electric cars were produced in the 1890s. In the 1890s, we had electric cars. So there's nothing so. What do you say? He's nuts. I've just heard you're completely nuts, so I'll ignore you. I believe this gentleman here. I believe you. So hundreds of billions thrown in the direction of Elon Musk and co. And Elon Musk knows that his technological skill and prowess is actually limited. I mean, you think, how much time in the day does he have? How much time does he actually have to do this investigation of science? Not much, because he's running around doing politics. And he says, I'll give the money to Reform Party. I'll give the money to AfD in Germany, or to whatever. So there you get the essence of it. This is pure capitalism. We buy power with money. That's the point. And the point about deep and the new software program designed on open source software is it is a direct counter to that. However, I will argue that what you need to do, because of the point we've reached, this is a decisive turning point in world history. And that decisive turning point in world history is dependent and will be determined by to what degree the mass of ordinary people, ordinary in inverted commas people, the mass of working people around the world adopt artificial intelligence and use it as their instrument of liberation.
Correct.
Make it into a tool to serve their purpose.
How are they correct.
Taking the bribes from the Arabs?
You could ask, for example, in your case, I know you've had a problem as a result of what's called long COVID. So you can investigate and prompt the artificial intelligence to give you. Have you tried it? Have you tried it? Democracy deals.
They've realised that they want to do something about it. Help them.
I seen you there. I was going to say something to you. Keep it.
I don't want to. No, I want you to read the Quran and translate it correctly. So translate it correctly. What do you mean nobody says? Hold on. The word, show you.
aid that America gives comes in. But when it gives aid to Jordan, Egypt, and these nations, it's aid. It's money. When it comes to Israel,
Excuse me, would it be okay if I can stand?
The American arms industry. The Israelis are given a check that they can only spend on American arms.
Right.
And then
every Western nation.
No, it's not how aid works with other nations at all. It's not for military contracts. And Israel then takes those weapons, enhances them, because we've got some smart guys in Israel. They enhance the tech and then give it back to the Americans. It's win-win from the Americans. They say, here's a big check which you have to spend on us.
Win-win if you're not a taxpayer. If you're a Zionist, then it's a win-win. If you're a taxpayer, then
if you're a taxpayer, of course there's a win for you. You have the arms industry is one of the biggest employers in America.
Yes.
Not only is that, the enhancements that the Israelis give to those weapons makes America a safer place. America has strategic interests.
If you're Zionist, you're an American citizen, it's great.
America has strategic interests to do with oil. You guys drink a lot of oil. You drink more oil than the Irish drink alcohol. You are thirsty.
America and Israel done that thing to take Iran's oil.
I preferred you with the mask.
And Israel will not exist without America.
Zionists
Israelis killed 1,200 of their own people.
So, Ashkenazi Jews are a minority population in Israel. The majority of Jews in Israel are a lot darker than me. However, Jews, skin color is this really annoying Western fixation. You know, like, I'm white, I'm oppressed, I'm black, I'm oppressed, he's black, he's white, he's brown, he's slightly browner, he must be really oppressed because his skin tone is this. No, he's more oppressed because he's lighter skinned. We don't have that distinction. The Jewish people are a people. And whether you are fair-skinned or dark-skinned, genetic studies show that we're all related. And surprise, surprise, the Jews that lived in India for 1,000 years intermarried with some Indians and look a little darker than me. My ancestors, my Jewish ancestors, lived in Poland before they came to, before that they came from Israel, but they lived in Poland. And surprise, surprise, they married into some Poles and their skin colour lightened. My personal family, I have English, Irish, Jewish blood. I'm an example of that. It doesn't mean, however, that I can't trace my ancestry back to Israel. The argument that the Jews are the colonizers is insane. When the English and the Europeans came from Europe to America, they brought a religion that had never been there, Christianity. They brought a language that had never been spoken there, French, English. They created cities like New York, New England, New Jersey. When the Jews returned or re-established their home in Israel, they didn't create New Odessa. They didn't create New Kiev. They created, or didn't create anything, they reverted back to the original names. Hebron, pick up the Bible, Hebron, Yerushalayim, Jerusalem. And what's even better is the Arabic names, the so-called people we're colonizing, hinder the fact that they are the colonizer. I'll give you an example. In the 1600s, a Christian from, I think, Denmark went to Israel and the Holy Land and documented all of the populations. He found a village of Christians, 16 families, called Allah. Before Allah was Allah, it was Bayt Allah. Before it was Bayt Allah, which is house of God, it was Bet-El, Bethel in the Bible, the Jewish name. What do you think Bet-El, or what do you think is next, the biblical site of Bet-El today? Ramallah, Allah, Beit Allah, Bet-El. You can go to almost every Arabic city. Another example, the Holy Al-Quds, Jerusalem, Al-Quds, comes from an Arabic word, Bayt al-Maqdis, the holy house, the holy temple. Where did they get this word, Bayt al-Maqdis? Beit HaMikdash, thank you, Beit HaMikdash, the Hebrew term for the temple. They call Al-Quds Al-Quds because the Jewish temple stood there.
Muslim copied from Jews.
Stole from Jews.
Bible is copied from Torah. It's all lies, lies, lies. God never gave any book to anybody. God never gave Jews. That's right. What's the name? I had a heart attack. I'm trying to recover.
I wish you were full
Yeah.
full
And
recovery.
God never gave
Okay.
Israel to Jews. God never gave anything to Muslims. God never gave anything to Christians. God have told me, you are the Messiah. God told me I was the Messiah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Speaker's Corner.
And God said, Messiah will have a line on his forehead. His forehead will be slightly concave. This is the sign of Messiah. This is on your face.
The Messiah will come to you with a plastic mask and bubbly eyes.
The religions are all lies. They are not true at all. Muslim, Quran is lying, Torah is lying, Bible is lying.
I like Modine.
The Messiah.
And Jews, they killed their own people on the 7th of October. 1,200 of their own people, Jews
I
killed.
want you to talk to me. I just say salam alaikum. I like this man. He said, did you hear that? This Muslim here was surprised that another Muslim would say, peace be upon you to a Jew. A moderate Muslim will say peace be upon you to a Jew. An extremist lunatic that's been welcomed into this country does not believe that you should wish peace upon Jews.
First of all, Jewish is the people of the books, the people of the free books. You're allowed to marry them. You understand? There's no problem. There's no problem. There's no problem with Jewish religion. This is more political. You understand? It's nothing to do with Jewish religion. You understand? So as a Jewish or Christian, are people of the book. They're clean. So if you touch them, they're clean. If you're not people of the book, then you can't marry them. If you touch them, your hand, you have to wash your hands. If you're not people of the book.
Is that why you're wearing gloves? We don't have such a concept. As a Jew, I'll shake anyone's hand. As long as you've washed it first. If you want to have some fun, step up, big guy. Step up. You've been heckling from the sideline. I want to have some fun, and then runs away. Amazing. Thank you.
That's my one. I got one. My one's got the blue on it.
Considered an Iranian proxy. The brigades were also accused of committing war crimes and engaging in sectarian violence. And when it comes to Muslim war bands, I can well believe that, but I find it unlikely that Christian war bands would have done so. However, God knows the truth of it. Eventually, Mamika became affiliated with the Syriac Assembly Movement, a political party that received its support from the government of Kurdistan. And so I want to say to Kurds, the Christians are your best allies. Stop seeing the Assyrian Christians as a group to persecute or a group to oppress, but see them as a group that you should associate with and should support in mutual collaboration to the creation of a greater Kurdistan. Mamika went on to found the Syriac, was one of the founders of the Syriac Democratic Union and the Falcons of the Syriac Forces in 2014, which was an armed militia which was affiliated with the Christian militia Babylon Brigade, the armed wing of the Babylon movement. In 2017, Mamika was involved in an internal power struggle with fellow Babylonian movement leader Ryan al-Kildani, which he lost, and this may have played a role in why he had to flee Iraq. However, as a Christian and as a Christian militant, he wasn't finished trying to help or defend Christians. When he fled to Germany and lived within the Schengen visa, he announced his apostasy and became an atheist from Christianity. In April 2018, Mamika applied for a refugee visa to Sweden, and he was since then registered as an Iraqi refugee until April 2021, when he was granted a 3-year temporary resident permit, which was due to expire in April. Mamika was denied a permanent residence necessary to acquire Swedish citizenship because he had lied in his asylum application by denying that he was in the Imam Ali Brigades, claiming that he was associated with the political branch and not the paramilitary branch of the movement. After he was granted a residence permit in Sweden, while still under investigation for his association for the pro-Iranian militant group, he threatened a man with whom he shared the accommodation with a knife, which resulted in him being convicted for an unlawful threat the following year, and he was sentenced to probation and community service. In 2023, Mamika arranged a series of demonstrations against Islam. Mamika posted dozens of videos online, often the majority Muslim countries' names in Arabic as hashtags, prior to the Quran burnings. During these demonstrations, he desecrated Qurans and burned them with police protection and legal permission. The Quran burnings were accompanied by attacks against Mamika. Also in 2023, the Swedish Migration Agency decided that Mamika was to be expelled from the country due to threats against him in Iraq. Let that sink in for a second. They wanted to expel him because of threats against him. In other words, the Liberal government was being intimidated by Islamists abroad, just like they were with Pakistani confessors who were charged under the blasphemy law that the British and other Western governments wouldn't give sanctuary to. He was deported from Norway on the 27th of March 2024, and it was reported that Mamika had left Sweden for Norway to seek asylum. Shortly after his departure, there were reports in social media that he had been found dead in Norway, but the Norwegian police appeared to deny the rumours. On the 4th of April, Norwegian police announced that they had arrested Mamika on the 28th of March and they planned to deport him. Mamika died on the 29th of January 2025 at the age of 38 after being shot. It happened in his own home in Södertälje during a TikTok live stream. 5 arrests have been made in connection to the shooting, according to the Swedish prosecutor. Just want to correct myself, I was under the impression that he was a Christian and therefore a Christian martyr. I wasn't actually aware of his apostasy from Christianity. However, the death of Mamika in Sweden tells us a number of things that we need to consider. And the first is that he was driven because he had experienced the threat of Islam in real time. ISIS, when Mamika was a Christian, was determined to wipe out the Christian populations of Iraq. I think someone who has faced down an Islamist movement determined to wipe you out might have a justifiable reason to being an opponent of Islam. And there is a great irony in the debate and the discussion around Mamika that people are calling him an Islamophobe for warning about the dangers of Islam and Islamists after he has been killed by Islamists because of Islam. There is a great irony in that. And it exposes the naivety and the ignorance of our liberal elites who refuse to see and accept that we have a threat within every Western democratic society, coming from Islamists who swim within the pool of Muslims. And notice the distinction that I made there. We should understand Mamika's death and life as a warning to us all. He died trying to warn us of a danger that our elites do not wish to recognize. The irony of being offended that the Quran should be burned when Uthman himself burned early copies of the Quran, and it is a normal practice to burn Qurans as a way of getting rid of them because you can't just chuck them in the bin, demonstrates something of an irony. Now, I personally don't agree with desecrating Qurans for the shock value or to insult people. However, I do agree in a democratic society that you should have the right, so long as it's yours and you own it, to desecrate a Quran if you want to. Why do I say that? I say that because the same liberal elites that have arrested a man in Manchester because he burnt a Quran in protest at the murder of Mamika are the same liberal elites who did nothing at all when a art piece in Scotland was a Bible that people were encouraged to deface and to desecrate. They do nothing at all when people desecrate the Bible, or when they stick a crucifix in a vat of piss and call it art. In other words, our liberal elites are completely okay with Christian symbols being desecrated and they do nothing. But if you desecrate a Quran, they do something and they arrest you. Why is that happening? It is because our liberal elites live by an economy of fear. They fear Islamists. They fear the reaction of the Muslim community, and so they kowtow to that community and give them special protections that they do not give Christians or other groups. This hypocrisy needs to be called out in the most forceful terms. The burning of the Quran that Mamika did and the assassination that resulted from it is meant to intimidate us. It's meant to make us obey Islamic sensibilities. And I want to say it failed. Because of Mamika's assassination, since that moment, thousands of Qurans have since been desecrated, burned, and desecrated in other ways as protests. And those protests are legitimate. And I call for the release of the man that is a friend of Mamika who desecrated a Quran in Manchester. I call for his release because in a democracy you can protest. And if someone desecrated a Quran, he would not be arrested, as exemplified by the multiple examples of where Bibles have been desecrated by gay activists, for instance. We must recognize, all of us, but I say particularly to the church, that our enemies have demonstrated their resolve to win. They have demonstrated how determined they are to win. We must match their resolve with equal vigor. We must match their resolve to win by being willing to beat them. Anything less will result in defeat. We must be utterly committed to the destruction of the Islamist movement wherever it is in the world, and certainly within our society. We must not be afraid to expel from our nations anyone with any Islamist sympathies. We must not be afraid to take sides. And the problem with our liberal elites is that because of their ideological blind spot, they always go off kilter whenever the Islamist threat raises its head and then start talking about the political right, even though over 90% of all terrorist deaths are the result of Islamist activism, not because of activism from the political right. But yet our elites talk about these two things as if they are equal threats. And I want to say as a Christian that the extreme right is a threat to the church, and we must oppose it. Ethno-nationalists go into churches in America and shoot Christians because they're black. And so as Christians, we must oppose ethno-nationalism. But we must recognize what is the bigger threat. The Islamist network are marshalling entire armies in Somalia, in Iraq, in the Philippines, in Kashmir, and in northern Nigeria, and a number of other places. We Christians must recognize, and Western society must recognize, the threat. It's said that for every soldier on the front line, you need 4 people supporting them from behind. The fact that there are so many Islamist armies active in the world demonstrates the widespread support for the Islamist ideology. We must not be afraid to face it down square on. And distractions about the political right and the alt-right, like going after Tommy Robinson, a peaceful right-wing activist, is a complete distraction from the real threats in our society. Europe is dying the death of 1,000 cuts because of the incompetence and the cowardice of our political elites. We must drive our political elites out democratically and replace them completely. Leading civil servants, leading police officers, the entire political class, leading judges must all be removed from office and replaced by people who actually want to defend the West in a Trumpian-like manner. The cowardice of the political elites will be the death of us all. They will drag us over the cliff. We must reject and replace our political elites in every sphere, and we must commit ourselves not to defending liberal secularism, but to the idea of replacing liberal secularism with a new Christendom. Because the liberal elites have used up the full resources of their ideological framework, and they do not have an answer to the Islamist threat. But Christians have defeated Islamists before, many times, and in many places, because our ideology allows us to call them what they are and to deal with them as they are. And so we must commit ourselves not to more liberal secular humanism, but to the idea of a new Christendom. We Christians must draw courage from our faith, because Christianity tells us that there is a life in the world to come, and that what happens in this world is not the end, and that there is a future for us that is secured by Jesus Christ, and that we must offer up our souls and bodies to establish his kingdom in the here and the now as his holy priests, as his royal nation. And in the knowledge that even our deaths can serve his church, we must boldly strive.
No, the Prince of Peace.
Polish, any Austrian, any nationality.
Why you?
Why the Middle Eastern? Oh, I'm Tunisian. And what? Is that an exact?
Yeah, because I'm born here. And I have a British passport.
Yeah. So why do they call it Jew or Hungarian? They were born there with the Hungarian passport. Blah, blah, blah,
That's not the point. You're ignoring my point. I'm talking to you about the fact that you claim
Arab jihadists.
You guys continuously bomb schools, mosques, and you're trying to laugh and
No, they don't.
be happy. Nice. You are
thousands of text messages, thousands of leaflets, thousands of broadcasts saying leave deport. All Palestinian all Hamas fighters only wear the uniform for camera. In the war, they wear civilian clothes. They never use uniforms on the fighters. Coward! Yes.
Remember, have you ever considered that for the past 80 years, Palestine has been continuously getting... I can't respect your opinion, but I can acknowledge it.
Why you did it outside the here? We just share whatever, yeah?
Listen, no. Don't get it twisted like I'm your fucking friend. I don't like you, cuz. Just because I can be friendly, it doesn't mean that I am your friend. I don't like you because I don't want to be yours. I don't want to be yours.
Okay, you show me that you can live with peace to prove it.
Yes, we live with peace, yes.
You show me.
Yes.
I'm not in Palestine, I'm not a Palestinian.
Yes,
I'm not trying to be peace at this moment, right now. I just want someone to understand. You need to understand. You need to understand that for the past 80 years, they have been getting bombs, attacked mercilessly. Sometimes you need to put it in your brain that all great revolutions start with freedom fighters. You don't know. You've never been through that type of pain in your life. South Africa, literally one of the biggest and most recent apartheids, has just come out and stated in their ICJ case against this that you guys have committed. Similar to the ICJ. Similar to the ones created by apartheid in South Africa. These countries are deplorable. Israel is deplorable, evil, villainous. Israel are murderers. They are killers. Israel are terrible. They are evil. They are the roots of everything bad in this world.
Corruption.
You don't understand the fact that they have
Israel killing
You don't understand me, baby.
time to recover.
Baby.
This guy thinks he's funny. What, dude?
Right, don't go anywhere yet, sir. Look in the camera. Smile. So, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
78.2 thousand people are currently watching you. What's your name?
He wants some jihad.
I didn't know that.
You do now. So, what's your name?
My name is Yassine Davy.
I haven't seen you down here before. This is your first time at Speaker's Corner.
Yeah, it is actually. It is my first time.
And what's your assessment of how things have gone today? Don't worry about him.
I think it's been great, honestly. Again, obviously, so I don't like many opinions, and I feel the need to fight against opinions that I believe are wrong. However, I do like acknowledging and hearing other opinions, at the very least to increase my own knowledge. And I think with this, with this conversation that we've just had, that was a very informative conversation for him. Hopefully he actually opened up his ears and listened. And yeah, I'm very happy with how today went.
What motivated you to come down here to voice your opinion down at Speaker's Corner?
I'll be honest, I was motivated due to the fact that a Palestinian child was recently shot dead in Tulkarem by an IDF sniper rifle. And I feel like at that point, with a sniper, with the scope, with the training, you cannot be accidentally shooting children in the middle of Tulkarem while there was a ceasefire agreement a couple of days ago. That is deplorable and shameful. And to see someone who supports that type of behavior out here on these streets, they can be out here on these streets. I just don't want them near mine.
See, I'm going to do something very unusual. I'm going to...
Call upon the name of Jesus Christ. I'm challenging you. Can you see the people in God? I know. Diligent and call God and ask God, I'm hearing Jesus Christ came to save us. Is that true?
Turkey,
and many both Muslim Christians.
Excuse me. Hi there, my name's Louis Errington. Would you mind saying a few words to the camera about your experience today at Speaker's Corner?
No. 11 at night.
Too sad. Maybe another day.
5 in the morning, crying to God. I want to know who this is.
انت وكالك
That's good. That. Most Christians, some Christians say, oh, okay, what does that mean? I don't know. Honestly, maybe I'll do a bitch. I don't know.
Danny, would you mind saying a few words to the camera about your experience today at Speaker's Corner and what you're promoting?
We've been on the background.
Yeah, I know. I see you have walked up to me earlier, and then you walked away.
Battle mode. What are you?
So this is Danny Shine at Speaker's Corner. He normally comes most Sundays and preaches various stuff, and today this is rather interesting what he's doing right now.
You're saying that it's so maybe you don't even understand this. Yeah, I know.
You don't want the UK to become Muslim. But do you know what the Quran says? The Quran in multiple places.
So yeah, the Bible
Go to this debate. This debate is here.
You should clarify. Clarify. You didn't listen properly. I'm quite glad that you did not say that. That's good. That's good. That's really good. I really appreciate it. But may I please
Not okay. Right.
No, that's no good. Huh? You have to get men. But yeah. Hey, Postman, why you Postman?
وده الوجد فون
Het is altijd gewoon vol. Bro, we moesten reserveren, man. En toen we daar aankwamen op onze reserveringsstaat was het nog steeds vol. Moesten we wachten nog een kwartier.
Take, go, 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 go. It's a man. Why you fight the man? Leave it. He's angry, wait. He nearly hit you. He nearly hit you. Please go,
Hands on peace.
It's okay, it's okay.
No, I'm not getting into heaven. Those of you who said go to heaven.
Excuse me. Would you mind saying a few words to the camera about your experience today at Speaker's Corner?
My
How you're
experiences?
finding
It's an adventure.
How long have you been coming for as well?
Yeah, quite a while, really, quite a while. You know, and it's a good place to come, just to people to express ideas and thoughts. You know, and so.
Have you been debating anyone in particular, and how have you found it?
No, I've just been standing with someone over there, and he has a YouTube channel, so I've just been standing with him over there, and he's a preacher. He's asking a simple question, like, should Britain become? He's asking Muslims, should Britain become? British people become Muslims, and so he's asking that simple question, and so that's all I was done there. But we're just sharing the love and the truth of Jesus, you know. And so, thanks so much.
And why do you think it's so important that you're spreading your message?
You know, well, for me as a believer, as a Christian, it's just sharing the good news about Jesus, because that's what Jesus said. Go and share the good news that that God is love, and He loves everyone, and that Jesus died on the cross for everybody, and if He's the way to heaven. And so it's important that God loves everybody, He's created everybody, and He's our creator.
Thank you.
So what happened again, sir?
Excuse me.
Okay. Cheers.
Not interested. You have a house. Come on, leave it like that. Come on. Please, come on, man. You came. You are. You're pushing me again. I haven't got space to know. Same question, sir. Are you even a police officer? Please. You have assaulted me already.
You are too close to my colleague in a space. I'm asking you to move back. That's not a difficult request, is it?
Please.
Is it? Sorry. Is it a difficult request?
Is that a question?
Yeah, it's the question.
Then wait. Listen to the answer.
Okay. Look, we're performing to the cameras.
Would you listen to the answer?
It's a bit boring, mate.
Okay. In which case, don't ask any question. If you're not interested in the answer, okay. In which case, don't tell me what to do.
I can, sir.
Okay.
In the Royal Park, under the Royal Parks regulations,
Thank you very much.
I can tell you what to do, how to behave.
Excuse me, sir. Try your luck somewhere else. You have touched me multiple times,
Sir,
and
do not
so
point at
has
me. Do not point at me. Put your hands down. If you want us to put our hands down, speak. All right?
Very simply, I'm going to say I need a personal space to. I need to have breathing space. You have touched me multiple times, which is technically an assault, and I really want breathing space. Is that too much to ask?
All we asked you was, to move back.
That's
That's it.
move for the sake of peace.
Please, that's what I said.
Please listen.
Please
listen.
That's what
You
I
came.
told you.
Excuse me, sir.
Because
please
you were interfering with my colleague.
I wasn't.
You were.
It's all
My
on
co-
record.
It's
We'll
all
challenge.
on record with me,
Well,
sir.
I
My camera
will
has been
make
on.
a complaint
Do
about
that.
this, sir,
Do
and
that,
we'll
sir.
find out
Do that.
who
Do that.
interfered with who. Thank you. Can I please get your names? Can I please get your names?
That's my name there, sir.
Can I get your number? One second. So your name is, sir?
That's my shoulder number, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please read that out for me?
Why? So you can't read it?
Can I please request you to read that out for me?
Name, sir? It's
Sure.
Jamil, Jamil.
Thank you very much. Romeo Oscar. One second. Romeo Oscar 101. Constable Rashid Jamil. And your name and number, sir? Constable Richards and number Romeo Oscar 9.
Sorry, sir. Now you can read it.
I
but
am
you can't
speaking
read
right
mine.
now, please.
Really?
Because you would not read out. I
Wow.
need to read out for my record.
Yeah, and when I said to you, that's
904.
my number in here, you should read it out to me.
Do you want to
But
argue
read
with
it
me?
right. Sir,
Are you
you've
really
got double
interested in an
standards, by the
argument?
way.
I am not
Yes,
interested
you
in
have
an
double
argument.
standards, sir.
I am really not interested in an argument.
You are.
Thank you.
You are arguing.
Constable Richards. Romeo Oscar 904. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now you can give me some breathing space. I can. There is no space for me. Which way?
That's your colleague.
Please come with me. Please come with me. If I could have some space, that'll be lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Submit unto the authorities. Let them go.
What about you guys?
Make the police accountable for the job. I saw everything. I exactly.
You don't know what happened right from the start. May I please ask you? 1 second. These two police officers assaulted me. They came and stepped on me. Stepping on me is not part of their job. I know.
Sorry.
Where's the Muslim people in Gaza? One here.
American multinationals. No wonder the Americans government, they
The Piers is over there. Yeah.
Hi Louis, sorry,
How are
I'm
you?
watching you filming.
Okay, very good to see you.
You good?
Yeah, good, thank you.
nice to meet you.
How
Is this your dad? It's not your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I think sometimes you do the filming for Louis, don't you? Yeah, I've heard your voice a few times on camera. Huh?
I'm going to go back there for the... I'm going to go back there for the last
forcing on too much.
We can go to Piers.
Just go around. Hey, what's your door?
That's very kind of you.
You okay? Yeah. I'm just going to... You have joined the channel recently, and I hope you enjoy all the future content that I'll be covering. I'm signing off now, and see you all on the next live broadcast. Bye everyone, have a lovely evening. Take care.